Well, hello there. Good morning and welcome to the AM show. It's Tuesday, another exciting installment of your favorite breakfast show. I'm Emefa Akosia Adeti and, of course,
I'm Samuel Kojo Brace. Wherever you are this morning, I guess that you have the right intentions towards today. Because you know what? Your reaction to the challenges or the problems that come to you is what really determines how successful you will be or how you feel. So make sure you manage your reactions to situations because those are the defining moments in your life. Welcome again to the AM show.
Plus, welcome again to the AM show. And on that high note of motivation from Samuel Kojo Brace, we'll bring you a little later the AM news and as well AM sports. And we'll bring you news review. We shall be joined by Dr. Joshua Zaato, Senior Lecturer, Policy, Political Analyst, Department of Political Science, University of Ghana, Legon. And as well, His Excellency Benjamin Kwashi, Ghana's ambassador designate to the Republic of South Africa. And again, on the same news review, we have Afel Money, former president, GJA, and Kojo coming up on big stories.
Well, today we discuss the menace of illegal weapons and ammunition in the hands of individuals and how this is impacting on fighting crime in our society. I mean, you remember what happened in Impal over the weekend, where they went into a gold store with guns. We ask, and that particular incident, CCTV captured the footage of how the incident occurred, with attackers wielding guns, and an incident in Kuntunase district in the Ashanti region, where the police found in an abandoned vehicle dangerous weapons and ammunition. We hear from the Small Arms Commission on efforts to retrieve illegal arms and ammunition from the public.
A very important conversation. A little later, you must have seen that President Mahama has granted amnesty to nearly 1,000 prisoners, particularly 998 prisoners under various categories. Well, magnanimous as it is, we would rather ask, or we were concerned about its impact on public safety. So, you want to join us with your thoughts, views via phone, and across all of our social media platforms at My Joy as well.
Well, it's time for us to bring you the start the show. But remember, the show is being sponsored by Syntex Tank. Syntex Tank, we say strong.
Hey, tough.
Tough. Well, we'll start the show with the AM news with Akosia Adeti. Good morning.
You're still watching the AM show. Time now to bring you some news updates. And first, after months of stagnation, the Ofankor and Sawam Road project has finally seen a glimmer of hope. The contractor, Maripoma Enterprise Limited, has resumed work on the site as of Saturday, August 16, bringing relief to commuters, business owners, and residents who had grown weary of the road's deplorable state. Joy News' Michael Ashale returned to the stretch and has filed this report.
Just days ago, this was the reality. Drivers had to carefully navigate the gaping potholes along this stretch.
But today, the experience is much different. That is only because the contractors, Maripoma Enterprise Limited, is currently on site trying to rehabilitate the road and also continue the construction of this 33-kilometer road.
As of December 2024, although more than 70% of the work had been done, government had released only 20% of the $340 million needed for the project. Now, an additional $30 million has been paid. At Satellite Junction, the once muddy pool is gone. Laterite is taking its place.
We are suffering, very suffering.
I mean, how are you suffering?
Because we can't come out if it rains. Just a very small downpour, we can't come out. The road become very flooded. Some of the manholes have to be at least filled.
The road is bad. I am happy the contractor is back. I had to frequently change my tires. The contractor should try and finish.
Earlier, drivers threatened to stage a protest over the deplorable state of the road.
We must park the cars on the road and block it.
With works resuming, some drivers say there may be no need for that anymore.
Na adentina weni aji.
It gives me joy to see that the contractor is back here. If the demonstration happens, I will join, but I think the contractor is doing what we wanted. We should wait a bit.
The contractor may be back on site, but for drivers, relief is still far from near because some portions of the road still sits muddy pools like this, that especially small vehicles had to take their time to navigate them, or else the unfortunate may happen.
It is on one of those sections that Amos Mensah slipped and fell.
I came here to work. While crossing the road, I slipped in the mud. Look, my sandals are torn.
The original completion date was July 2024. It was later revised to May 2025. Now, Mahama Enterprise Limited, the construction company, says the project will be ready in 9 months.
The maintenance is not going to take a lot of time. Between 2 and 3 weeks, we must be done with the basic maintenance, and that is filling and grading of the road up to in Samom. But I said we started on Saturday. Within 2 and 3 weeks, we must be clear.
How about the major road? How many months or years are you going to spend in a construction?
Yeah, we have up to May 2026 to complete. And if there are any snacks, we will definitely ask for extension. There are also some electricity lines and water lines in the right of way. They have all encroached in their right of way, and it shouldn't have happened like that.
For many road users, the expectation is simple. This time, the contractor must stay on site and finish the work once and for all. For Joy News, Michael Ashale.
Now, away from the Pokwase-Nsawam stretch, a group calling itself the Coalition of Unpaid Nurses and Midwives working in various public health facilities across the country is demanding payment of their 7 months unpaid salaries. Now, the coalition, comprising of over 7,000 registered nurses and midwives, argues that the government has failed to honor financial obligations despite their financial clearance. According to the health professionals, despite having worked tirelessly since January this year, they are yet to see the fruits of their labor, which has plunged them into economic quagmire. They say they are emotionally drained to continue working with no assurances for their payments anytime soon. Take a listen to some of the distraught nurses recount their ordeal under the economic difficulty.
And we got there, the only thing they told us that it is true that our clearance have expired. But as it stands now, there is nothing they can do for us unless they clear the ghost names from the system. It was very disheartening and they rendered us hopeless. What happens to the financial clearance they gave us? We are there caring for Ghanaians because we are equally citizens of Ghana and we are caring for our country, which the country doesn't care for us. We are now second option that they should clear ghost names before they can absorb us. It is really disheartening. We are emotionally traumatized. Aside we not getting the money to cater for our needs, it is like psychologically we are tormented and our work, we should be psychologically fit, physically fit, and emotionally fit. We can render care to patients.
I'm sleeping on the floor. Just last 2 weeks, I was admitted at the hospital, and the diagnosis was pneumonia because the weather, you see how the weather is, and the floor, it doesn't match. So with this, we are going through a lot. Our hospital bills, we pay it ourselves. What we eat, we do it ourselves. And if the money is not coming, when we were not employed, we were working and getting our own money to take care of ourselves. But now that they have stopped our means of income, they have to do something about it.
I have a letter with me that was given to me by my landlady that she has given me till 21st August this month. If I don't make payment of the balance of 1,500 cedis, I should pack my things and leave her house. This is the letter. You can even have a view. This is the letter. This is what we are going through. So I have just 2 days to get 1,500. If not, I have to leave the house. I can't sleep outside. So if by 21st I don't get it, I have to go to my parents and go and join them doing farming.
Now, the group wants their demands heeded to within the next month, or the government will face their wrath. Stephen Kwajotechi is a convener for the coalition.
We need immediate payment of all salaries owed us since January 2025. We need a clear and binding timeline from government, not later than September 2025, to resolve this matter. We need transparency and accountability in handling our financial clearances. This is not just about money. It is about fairness, dignity, and respect for the men and women who hold Ghana's health system together. If nothing concrete is done after this call, as the saying goes, when we get to the river, we will know how to cross the river. We have our plans in mind, but we are waiting patiently on the government, hoping that this press conference will yield the results we intend. If not, the government and the good people of Ghana would hear from us. We will not sit back whilst our profession is being disrespected and our lives are destroyed. Ghana for Monsorio, Choboy, yeah, Choboy, yeah, Yaniabre, 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 Ghana for Monkamoho. Now is the time to speak for your nurses.
Now, a desperate cry for basic necessities has led students at Wenchi Alferi College of Education to take drastic action, citing chronic lack of water, appalling facilities, inadequate hostels, poor feeding, and sky-high fees, plus the denial of their SRC week. They have blockaded the school, halting all access. Students' Union General Secretary Mahama Livingston charged authorities to finally intervene. Vice Principal Abbas Ali Hassan responded with promise to resolve the issues swiftly. And Asabit is more.
For years, students at Al Farouk College of Education here in Wenchi say they've endured neglect. Today, their frustration reached the boiling point. They've taken control of the gate, shutting down the college and demanding answers. These students aren't just angry, they are desperate. They cite a litany of grievances long and deeply felt. Deplorable classroom conditions, a crippling lack of water supply, severely crowded and inadequate hostels, complaints about poor feeding, and most pointedly, what they call sky-high exploitative school fees.
We are unable to access our resource for a long time. This issue has been going on. We all know tertiary institutions pay school fees once, but we here at Al Farouk, we don't know whether we are so special. And if you look at the school complex, I don't know what they are using the money for.
I know that after paying your school fees, the school has to provide your school uniform. Schools have everything. But after paying the fees, they said we should also pay for school uniform and other things. We don't have classrooms. For over a month now, we don't have water. We don't, even when the water is running, it's not pure.
Students claim that despite paying their mandatory SRC dues, they are consistently prevented from holding their annual SRC week celebrations, a vital outlet for student life and voice.
And now, as I'm speaking to you, we have paid for our SRC dues. We have paid for SRC fees. But they are saying that we will not celebrate it. Why? They say it is haram against the school, and we are paying for it. Why are we paying for SRC fees when we will not allow us to celebrate?
General Secretary of the student body, Mahama Lome Livingstone, laid out these stark realities directly to student authorities during a tense meeting today, demanding immediate intervention.
And second on the list is school fees breakdown. You are saying when the fees come out, you want it to be broken down so that you know, okay, this particular amount is going for this people, and this one is also going there. Okay, over here, we also have, you are asking the school administration to allow or allocate a full 1 week for the celebration of SRC week.
To the shattered gaze and unified student anger, college officials stepped in to calm the volatile situation. Vice Principal Abbas Ali Hussein offered assurances stating the grievances are being handled and will be addressed.
I will stand to represent the principal to tell you that by his grace, we look at all these issues and solve them. So currently, we want you to put a stop to the demonstration in that answer. We wish you well, and we'll meet again.
Reporting for Joy News, Anas Sabit, Wenchi.
Now, for Ghanaian youth, the call is clear. Start saving now to secure tomorrow. The launch of the Elmina branch of the University of Cape Coast Cooperative Credit Union Limited stakeholders urged young people to build financial discipline and safeguard their future. The head of supervision at the Credit Union Association, Stella Tassa Maunyo, emphasized that developing the habit of saving early not only instills financial discipline, but also serves as a cushion in times of unexpected hardship. Abigail Leisa has more in this report.
The University of Cape Coast Cooperative Credit Union Limited, founded in September of 1988, is focused on providing financial services to its members within the university community, small-scale business persons, traders, drivers, and other interested persons. Currently, the cooperative has opened a new branch in Elmina, and at the launch, the CEO of the cooperative, Vincent Yamwa, shares the significance of the new establishment.
The purpose of our gathering this day is to launch our new branch, the Elmina branch, which is coming out of the amalgamation of the former KEA Workers Credit Union and UCC Credit Union. Now, UCC Credit Union has taken over the activities of KEA workers, and now our new branch is UCC Cooperative Credit Union Elmina branch. Our main aim is to help to improve the livelihood of our members. As the life of individuals is improving, we are hoping that the life of the members in the community will also improve.
The chairperson of the cooperative's board, Charity Abraham, highlights some of the benefits of the cooperative's presence in the community.
The benefits to the community. And so in terms of education, when you go to Cape Coast, you hear from us that we've affected so many lives. Just giving them educational materials and all of that. I remember we went to one community and then gave them a library facility and furnished this for them. So once we are here, we are not going to leave the community alone. I mentioned to the chief that if they let us know that if there's any school that is in need of any educational facility, will be glad to help that school. In terms of the fisher folks, here it's predominantly fisher folks. And so we'll go around and look at the fishing harbour and other things that we can help to ensure that the community grows. We are growing together. We grow stronger together. And so we are not here alone. We will help them to ensure that the community grows, and then the name of the UCC Cooperative Credit Union goes further.
While advising the youth, the head of supervision at the Credit Union Association Limited, Stella Tassa Maunyo, urged them to embrace the attitude of saving.
For the youth, I just want to use this opportunity to talk to them and invite them to join a credit union within Cape Coast. You can see the youth having about 4 mobile phones and then buying credits here and there. Ask yourself, have you saved enough for the future? How long are you going to depend on your parents? And so you need to put something aside today to help yourself when you grow.
You're still watching the AM News. Time now for business updates, and Hunter Pele is on standby.
Well, let's do business updates now. And tax consultant Francis Demori-Boy has asked the Ghana Revenue Authority to enhance tax education in the informal sectors to improve compliance. His advice comes on the back of the World Bank's warning about Ghana's revenue mobilization effort, arguing that it poses a serious threat to the expected economic recovery from next year. Speaking to Joy Business, Mr. Demori-Boy maintained GRA must be deliberate about meeting its revenue target for the year.
Yes, a lot more needs to be done, and we have seen the GRA doing something. But trust me, the modified taxation is targeted at the informal sector. These are people who traditionally will not be able to understand and know overnight. So we expect that more needs to be done by the GRA, and then after the education, enforcement needs to be done. The VAT reform would have brought us some, revenue, but unfortunately we have pushed it to 2026. All the same, we need to do more education to enable the informal sector buy-in. Remember, the informal sector, small businesses, according to the Statistical Service Department, they contribute close to 80% of the businesses we have in Ghana. So if we're able to target them and go after them, I believe that we can raise some money from there.
Well, in a decisive move to enhance development cooperation, the Ministry of Finance has convened a high-level strategic engagement with the United Nations agencies, funds, and programs operating in Ghana. The following report has more.
Statement released by the ministry said the day-long meeting reaffirmed Ghana's commitment to inclusive growth, coordinated planning, and sustainable transformation while providing a formal platform to align priorities and strengthen accountability between government and developing partners. It said a strategic engagement response to that challenge, reinforcing the ministry's recognition of the UN's pivotal role in supporting national development. The meeting brought together the ministry's representatives, heads of UN agencies, and its technical experts who shared strategic priorities, key interventions, and collaborative footprint across the country. Discussions focused on emerging coordinated challenges, streamlining multi-stakeholder collaboration, and aligning UN's collective support with Ghana's SDG implementation framework.
Let's conclude the business update with what's happening on the commodities market. And that's how we wrap up the AM News. Up next on the show is the AM Sports. You stay.
We bring you sports now on the AM show. I am Muftau Nabila Abdullah. The Joy Sports Invitational Tournament will be happening at the University of Ghana this weekend. About 48 companies will be vying for honors in 15 different disciplines put together by Joy Sports. The luckiest is one of these companies, and they say that they are the only company that is coming with a UEFA licensed coach, so other competing organizations should be worried about what they are bringing to the table.
all of you should come this way. Let's have you at the background. Yes. Come and give us morale. We need morale. Motivate us. But talk to me about the readiness of the luckiest for the Joy Sports Invitational Tournament.
Yes, of course. We're ready for different disciplines. We are prepared. We have staff members preparing, and we've been doing so for a couple of weeks now. But particularly, I would want to tell people that they should watch out for us in football, because we have within our ranks a professional football coach. That's myself.
Can I hear a shout for that?
I know many people will be surprised, but
which license do you hold?
Oh, you you see, it's surprising because you are supposed to know. I have a UEFA B license. I train with the English FA, so I'm a professional football coach. And the last year, one media house organized an invitational tournament like yours, and we won the football tournament. Okay. We beat different teams. We beat Gassem, we beat Shell, we beat all the top corporate entities to become the champion. So unfortunately,
you were lucky.
No, yes.
Well, you're the luckiest.
We are the luckiest. We are not just lucky. Unfortunately, when we appeared on your tournament, we had a few problems, so we couldn't prepare very well. But this time around, you should watch out for us. The football tournaments, I know, is guaranteed, is for the luckiest. We are the only entity that's coming up with a professional football coach. You understand?
You're already champion. What makes the luckiest a special institution, and why should everyone dial *712#?
Because it is the only game, I don't call it game, the only opportunity for you to put in something little and make the biggest. Because as we've been preaching all along, if you dial the *712#, you have the opportunity of magnifying your 1 CD to 500 times the value. And there's nothing like that around. And this is a seasonal occasion that happens once in a year. And it is not one that makes just one person a winner. It guarantees that so many people could become winners at the same time. So let's look out for the draw in December and see how many Ghanaians become lucky to be millionaires. And that is what we are anticipating. So playing a part of this invitational tournament is part of our preparedness to make Ghanaians happy. So we are coming to entertain, make people happy, and make people rich.
And give us money.
Exactly. Money is plenty money. You see,
I had plenty at the background.
Plenty.
Our CEO will do the penalty shootout. The CEO's penalty shootout.
Okay, if we have that one.
I remember the ladies' penalty shootout. You had two ladies there who were flying these things all over the place. One of them kicked the ball and went to throw.
They are the Samba ladies. They are represented this time around. Okay. They are coming this time around. I mean, they are there to surprise everybody.
So have you trained them?
Give a lot of, goodies to people on the ground.
Yeah, I remember you said a gentleman won a mobile phone or something like that last year.
A phone, a TV. A lot of goodies was won last year. This time around, it's not going to be different from last year. A lot of items are coming. We're coming with a lot of items to be giving out to people as well.
Okay. So if you're out there, the luckiest are ready for the Joy Sports Invitational Tournament. You would have to be there because there's an opportunity for you to walk away with some goodies. Pick up your phone, dial *712#, and you could be the lucky person by December. Thank you very much for your company. I am Muftau Nabila Abdullah. McDonald Group, they say that they are wondering why this event is even a competition in the first place, because all the trophies on the table will be won by the company, according to its chief executive officer, Kweku Ampromfi. Meanwhile, for Yak Decor, they also believe that they are here to walk away with all the trophies. For this year's Joy Sports Invitational Tournament?
I'm actually surprised that it's even a competition. Looking at who we are, what we do, I thought it would just be us. They will come, have fun, just give us the cup, and then we are done. You know, last year we won the volleyball. Yes. The only reason we didn't win the CEO penalty was I wasn't there. Yeah. I came around, but I had to leave for a meeting. This year, just tell the others they shouldn't show up. There's no point. I mean, why are they even coming? We are winning it. You know, McDonald Group, we are the best. Everything we do, hands down. So tell the other guys they should just chill. It's ours for the taking. No questions asked. Done deal.
Thank you very much. I just want to say that we are not just hungry, we are angry. We are ready. In fact, Joy FM, go and pick every single trophy and write McDonald on it in advance. We are bringing every trophy here. We are not just defending champions. We are the largest group company in the entire Africa. We have the largest salt mine in Africa. Where is Team Electrochem? Team Electrochem. Team Electrochem. We are bringing the largest salt mine. We are bringing the first African private terminal. Well, Ghanaian private terminal, airport. That's McDonald Aviation. Where's McDonald Aviation? McDonald Aviation. Yes. we are ready. We have the best, 10 times winner, the largest and the best shipping and air freight company. That's McDonald Shipping. Where are they? Thank you. Yes. So, in fact, just mention the trophy, we'll bring it. Don't worry.
But talk to me about the readiness of the female team for this year's Joy Sports Invitational Tournament.
Please zoom in the camera to her legs. Just watch her legs. If these legs kick the ball, where do you think they'll go? You know? Just tell me. See, I'm not going to talk for them. We have our people already here, right? She's going to talk about soccer. She will talk about volleyball. And mind you, we are the reigning champions for volleyball. We won last year. Lime and spoon, please look at her heels. Zoom in. Even in heels, the lime will never fall. So you can imagine her in sneakers at the pitch. Have you ever seen her play tennis? I'm sure you've seen her before. Wow. I don't have to talk much. Don't talk for them.
Madame very own Nami Osaka.
Tennis. Please talk for us.
Honestly, I just want to say I'm sorry for the people who I'm going to play against because it will be very, very difficult for them to win this. And honestly, McDonald on top. Tennis, volleyball, lime and spoon, everything. The ladies are on top. And everybody should be scared as for coming to win everything. As they said, all the trophies are for us. So everybody should be ready. Yes.
Okay, lime and spoon. Lime and spoon. Woo! And the sack race. Who is it, the sack race? Volley. Why is volley? Oh, please come. Why are you playing volley in school?
Yes. McDonald, we are already a winning team. We won last year, so we don't have to speak much. We've trained, we are well skilled. You should be ready for us.
Hi! Give them morale, morale.
Sack race, right? You know the McDonald Group, we ship goods across continents, right? So what's a sack to us? This is just some plaything at our warehouses. Volleyball. See, while the others are hopping, we'll just be gliding through.
Charlie, McDonald Group this morning, you've completely blown me apart. They are ready for this year's Joy Sports Invitational. Are you ready? See us at the University of Ghana Stadium. Thank you very much. I am Muftau Nabila Abdullahi. The Joy Sports Invitational Tournament happening this weekend at the University of Ghana Stadium. 48 companies competing in 15 different disciplines. The event will be starting at 6 a.m. with a walk inside the campus of the University of Ghana Stadium, and the walk will end at the stadium again before the other disciplines like football will also be happening. We want to start some of the track events, just as is done by World Athletics. There will be morning track events and there will be evening track events as well. So you need to be there very early for the morning session of the track events and also the evening session of the track events. Let me just wrap up by way of some news that have come true. The fan who racially abused Ghana's Antoine Semenyo has been banned across all stadia in the UK, and Christopher Ajay, he was also racially abused during a game between Schalke 04 and Lokomotiv. And the Ghana Football Association has released a statement supporting the player. In the Premier League, Leeds United won their game against Everton by 1-0, and Real Madrid later tonight will be in action against Osasuna. It is their opening game in La Liga. This is how we wrap up sports here on the AM show. The newspaper review comes your way up next.
To the AM show. The AM show is sponsored by Syntex Tanks Ghana. Let's talk water tanks. Did you know the secret to real water storage? It's simple. If your tank doesn't have the tortoise on it, then it's not the correct tank. That's right. The tortoise tank, Syntex tank, is the champion of water tanks. It's strong, it's durable, and built to handle Algerian weather. Rain or shine, Syntex tank has your back. So, my people, go outside, check your tank, and if it doesn't have a tortoise on it, it's time to upgrade. Join the Syntex tanks family today and enjoy water storage that's tough like a tortoise. You can as well call them on 0244-335-168 or buy now or find one of our 400 agents nationwide. You can also shop online at syntexgh.com. Syntex, A is strong, A is tough. News review just about starting. And this morning we're joined by Dr. Joshua Zaato, Senior Lecturer, Political Policy Analyst, Department of Political Science, University of Ghana, Legon, and as well His Excellency Benjamin Koshi, Ghana's Ambassador Designate to the Republic of South Africa, and as well Mr. Afel Money, former President GJA. And today's conversations, all of them very, very important. A lot happening in the news. President's granting nearly 1,998 persons amnesty. We'll get into it. How safe is it? Is it okay? When was the last time we had such amnesty granted in this country? What does it mean for the decongestion in our prisons as well? And of course, today, the IGP is set to meet police over the Akwatia elections, by-election that's about to happen in some few days or weeks as well. So much happening. Did you hear about the number of prophecies that have been received to that office where the request was put in the public domain as well? So much more. So you want to stay with me right here on News Review on the AM show. Gentlemen, thank you for joining us on the show today. It seems it's a celebration of white. What's the secret that I didn't know? Yeah, he led the day. It's good to have you all, gentlemen, today. His Excellency, thank you for making time as well. What's in the news that's have your attention? Maybe I'll start with you, His Excellency. What's in the news generally? How has your weekend been? I saw that you also played a major and active role in the unfortunate incident that happened as well. How have you recovered personally yourself? And how's it been so far for you?
Thank you very much. I was telling a friend yesterday how difficult it is when we came back from South Africa. But I believe that it's time that all hands come on deck so that we can fight the canker called Galamsey. I think that the death of this 8 gallant citizens of ours should rekindle the fight against Galamsey. And I believe that with everything that is going on, as a nation, we'll all rally around and ensure that, we are able to overcome this menace.
Right. We really appreciate the role that you played in that very difficult situation for us as a country. But apart from that, what's in the news that has your attention that you like to talk about before we go into what's in front of the newspapers?
I'm happy with this whole amnesty thing from President Mahama. You took it from another angle, indicating the decongestion of our prisons. And also under Article 72(1), the President has the power to be able to do what he has done. I'm sure that we did a bit of spinning on it, thinking that certain people were part of it, and we've been told clearly that they are not part of it. I think that in exercising his constitutional mandate, the President has done what he needs to do. Almost 1,000 plus inmates that have been granted the amnesty. And I'm sure that we should take the politics out of it and rather encourage the President and other institutions so that they look into whatever it is that happens in our prisons for the betterment of our country.
Okay, very well said. Mr. Money, what's on the news that has your attention?
I've been monitoring with all absorbing attention and all consuming seriousness the exchanges between the spokesperson for the President's Honorable Felix Kwachofosu and the MP for Otafo Asefua, and because of the sensitive nature of the center of the allegations, that the President traveled with private jets and is going to inflict a hell of a sum of money against the state, and the Honorable Minister was vociferous in countering the allegation. So my take is not to, it's not that of condemnation, but one of admonition. And that we do understand that politics and political goal scoring go hand in hand, is synonymous with politics. But as a result, our political scoreboard is littered with all kinds of goals, political goals. Many of them have no substratum of facts. Many of them are half-truths, outright lies, and others too are true. So in scoring political points, my advice to all politicians across the political divide, politicians of all partisan hues, please make sure that whatever you put out there has solid factual foundation. Because if you fail to do so, you'll be putting your reputation or image on the line. And the PR practitioners will tell you, image is everything. Once your image is dented, once your image is punctured, once your image is destroyed, then it will spell doom for you in the long run as a politician. And so in going forward, please, politicians, yeah, we all know that you want to take advantage of issues and then make you look good, or a party have some advantage of others. But inject the highest sense of circumspection in whatever allegation you make. Because, and the best repeating, once your image is destroyed, then listeners, the public, your publics, listeners, viewers, will develop psychological resistance to whatever message you put out there, and it will affect you in the long run.
Okay. Dr. Zaato, what's in the news that has your attention?
Good morning. Just few quick things. One is about the almighty dollar. If you look at right now, there is a very big scarcity of dollars in the market. Traders are crying. People are crying. The commercial banks say they don't have. In fact, the amount of money, the dollars that they applied for, they didn't even get half of it. It's not there. As a result, we know what is happening. The rate that the commercial banks quote is not the rate that you and I get. So the Bank of Ghana has their rate, commercial banks have their rate, but the rate that ordinary people get is what Aboche gives them. Aboche has the rate. Because something happened. A lot of economists, a lot of financial analysts, and a lot of policy think tanks have been warning that the state of the dollar to the cedi is artificial. It's being managed from the Bank of Ghana. But the Bank of Ghana has always insisted that no. Policy think tanks like the Africa Policy Lens have said this, they said no. The IMF and the World Bank has been warning that, look, you are interfering too much in that market. And because of the interference you are doing, you are just literally, you are pumping a lot of dollars. So again, it's not organic. In their latest report, the IMF and the World Bank actually made that point. And now you are seeing that shortage the dollar, the GUTA, the Chamber of Banks, everybody, they all come out to make this point clear. So it's not more an idea of whether or not. The fact remains that there are no dollars.
Two things. You have mentioned rate. You have as well mentioned accessibility.
Yes.
Which one is the main challenge?
Both of them are. Both of them
rate
are.
and
Yes,
accessibility.
yes. Because the rate, we've said this, all governments have failed to make sure that the rate of the dollar is not determined by the commercial banks. We've all failed, and all of a sudden, it is the so-called middlemen, the so-called abochis that have the dollar, and they give us a different rate. Today, the Bank of Ghana and the commercial banks will give. But this has
happened even. This has
Exactly.
been happening.
I'm saying it's happening, but it's taking a crunch system because the lack of the dollar in the market is happening. Because right now, most traders are trying to import for Christmas. They need a lot of dollars. It's not there.
But the banks have said that if the traders want, they can apply for them.
So something is happening. But bottom line is that they are crying for the lack of dollars, which is a fact. The IMF is warning that you are pumping too much dollars, the artificial, which is a fact. We need to be able to address all of this to make sure that the financial sector or the dollar sector becomes more stable and more predictable.
Okay.
But this is not helping all of us. The second thing I want to talk about is
His Excellency, I'll roll this up to you just slightly.
Yes,
it's
it's what Mr. Foreman was talking about. The President of the Republic of Ghana is traveling. Why aren't we told how he's traveling and why he's coming back? We are all interested. Why aren't we told this is how the president is traveling? He's moving from here to here, this is how he's traveling. Every president all over the world traveling, we know. We know. If the president of America is traveling where, you know he's going by Air Force One. There's nothing secret about it. Everybody. Why is how the president traveling a secret? It is because over the years, we have politicized, no, in fact, it's not politicized. I like the politicizing about it. We've made it so partisan, and we've weaponized it and used it against our opponents. We've made it look like, it's a funny thing in this country. We elect presidents, and the president must work. In this country, they must work all over the country. They must travel all over the country. They must travel all over West Africa, all over the world to do their work. But then we criticize how they work. But then we sit down there, and because of selfish motives, selfish reasons, and because of undue political partisan reasons, we criticize how they travel. We've seen how it was handled when the former government was in power. We've seen how that issue was made. To an extent that we were told that the presidential jet was fit for purpose. All of a sudden, we're now being told that it's not fit for purpose. My question is, how long are we going to keep doing this for ourselves? Look at the outpouring of love we had for this, our fellow 8 colleagues who died. If we were told that the helicopter, I'm not saying it is, that it was faulty, if we were told that we needed a better helicopter, would we have done that to save these people's lives? I think yes. But you see, the reason why we are now in where we are, where we cannot even disclose how our president is traveling, where we cannot even know or discuss how president is because over the years, we have been very irresponsible in how we've handled the presidential travels. We've been very irresponsible in how we deal with the safety and security of our presidents. We have played so much politics with it that now it looks like a football match. Everybody's now holding to hold you, to say, hey, you said don't use private jets. You are using private jets. You said go by commercial. You are not going by commercial. My point is that if that goes into the head of the handlers of the president's security and they kowtow to this pressure, the safety or the compromise of the president be. I don't want it to be compromised. Look, okay. I don't mind how the president travels. I want the president to travel in safety. I want the president to travel with an amount of comfort. I want the president to be able to go there and do his work and come back safely. Okay. But our politics is coming back to roost, and we shouldn't detain that. Okay. Your Excellency, so 2 things he's raised. Which one would you want to respond to? The dollar? I'll quickly respond to the 2. Okay. When he indicated about the dollar, you asked a very cogent question that which one is the main issue. I think that the Bank of Ghana has given us clear indications that there are no shortages of dollars in the system. Like he's saying, he says that the Bank of Ghana has pumped in a lot of dollars, and at the end of the day, he's also saying that there's shortage of dollars in the system. I think that the Bank of Ghana has, over the days and weeks, indicated towards what the real situation is. And I believe that the dollar being in the system helps us, especially with the business sector. I'm sure that if it is anything that he has indicated and the Bank of Ghana is not doing right, I believe that I've read the report of the IMF. Indeed, they spoke about the government's interference with the dollar and all of that. I'm sure that as an economist and as people who believe that we want to grow our economy, I think that we should look at that sector and ensure that there's availability of that. Like he indicated, rightly so,
people want to start shopping for December. People want to go in and bring goods for December, and I think that we should look at it on that angle. On the angle of the president's travel, look, the politicization has, especially in this case, is a bit laughable because the facts as they are and what the Honorable Vincent Assefuwa indicated, he has had a retreat of what he initially complained about. What I'm thinking, Doc, is that there are two different situations here. People are saying that in times past, the NDC made a much hue and cry about this whole presidential travels. But you see, when you look at how the Honorable Okudzeto Ablakwa, the current Minister of Foreign Affairs, did that time, there was an extensive investigation into whatever it is. Look, I remember when he spoke about the president traveling with a €20,000 per hour. The government never said that that was not true. And for us at that time, the country didn't have the means to be able to, spare that much when it comes to presidential travels. The president, we all know that the time that the Honorable Assefuwa indicated that the president had traveled, at that time, the president was attending a memorial at Christ the King. So you see, if you rush, you don't get the facts right, and you jump into the media field, this is what happens. At the end of the day, yes, indeed, when the president travels, everybody needs to know. When the president goes anywhere, everybody, as a citizen, unless there are specific reasons why government believes that nobody should know about the president travel. But let's not do the politics with it anymore. The reason is simple. At this point, we've lost citizens, we've lost comrades. And if we want to continue with politics as usual when it comes to the travels of the president and even ministers, we are going to get to a point where as a country we will never, ever recover from the consequences of it. I listened to the Otum, His Royal Highness Otumfuo indicates that let's put the politics aside and ensure that the right thing is done. Value for money. Let's ensure that Parliament is fully involved in whatever it is when it comes to purchasing of aircraft, helicopters, presidential jets, for the betterment of
I have a follow-up question, though.
Yes.
But for whether accurate or inaccurate information that the Honourable Member of Parliament put up on his social media post, did you expect that the presidency would at least tell the country that, the president is en route to here, this is how much is likely to spend? I mean, you made the point that unless, of course, the government believes that that travel is quite sensitive, I want to understand how much discretion the government would have to apply when the president is traveling and it costs us a certain level amount of money. The entourage, which the MP seems to want to be projecting after he tweaked what he is trying to say. How much information do we need to know? Do we need to know at all? But for what happened on August 6th, does it appear that presidential travels or air travels are going to be changed slightly? Do you anticipate that? I'm asking too many questions in one.
I think that we should anticipate that because at the end of the day, there are certain travels that perhaps we as a citizen are not supposed to know. I believe that in other jurisdictions, there was a time that President Obama traveled to Iraq. And nobody knew. He came in, went out again. And before the American citizens were told that is what, and that has to do with security implications. I believe that the president using commercial flight on this particular trip, there's nothing to hide. There's nothing to say that there are people on that flight. There are citizens and individuals who are not politicians on that flight. So they'll see the president on that flight. I think that the best thing is for the Honorable Assefuwa to ask the questions and not to jump into conclusions.
Okay.
I'm sure that the communication department of the presidency should also be able to tell the Ghanaian people exactly how and where the president traveled to. And I'm sure that will put to rest this whole...
Okay. Mr. Moni, which one of them do you want to respond to? The dollar situation, the travel? You have actually...
Yeah, I started with the travel,
yeah, you want to respond to the dollar situation. Because then, of course, you hear once in a while in the news that the Ghouta president will say that they do not have access to dollar. And if they must access it, it's quite a difficult one. I'm not sure what the challenge is. The central bank as well will come and say there aren't shortages. the banks as well will say that, but if you require a certain level or quantity of dollar, if you tell us, we'll apply for you. So what is it that we're missing? What do you think we're missing?
That every story has two or more sides.
Right.
One side from Guta, for which they have been so strident, is that there are shortages of dollar on the market. The Bank of Ghana has come to debunk that assertion. So it's up to the media to ferret the truth from the two sides. We have a lot of journalists who are specialized in economic reporting, economic journalism. And so I believe they have access to Bank of Ghana officials, access to people who can help feed the public. The public have the right to know. So the right to know is not only an act of symbolism, but something concrete. The public have the right to know, especially people who need dollars at this time to do business, to be in business, and to make money, and then help the economy to grow. So my call is to our brothers and sisters in the economic space. Please try as much as possible to fish out where the truth lies and feed the public accordingly.
Okay. It'll be a good time to talk about the amnesty that the president has granted some prisoners. The categories, just maybe, I like to think that you've seen it, but the category first-time offenders, a total number of 787. And then 2, death sentence to be commuted to life imprisonment. That's 87 persons as well, or prisoners. The third one is life sentence commuted to 20 years term. That's 51 persons. And then seriously ill, 33. Over 70 years, irrespective of offense, 36. Nursing mothers, 2. That makes me quite excited. Petitions, 2. The other things that you may have heard, you have seen that it's been debunked, that some persons you think that may have been granted amnesty you didn't see. Maybe, Dr. Zaato, start with this. I have my attention on the death sentence to be commuted to life imprisonment as well, because of the progress or the strides that we have made in that particular law based on the amendment. And so let me hear you before we zone into the categories.
Thank you very much. You see, we can link this to the travel thing we talked about. That the government is sometimes trying to play fast and loose with the information. In the name of good governance, we want transparency and accountability. And if you say you want to be transparent, then you should be transparent all the way. You shouldn't be transparent some of the way or most of the way. You should be transparent all of the way. If you can tell us that you have committed or you have freed almost 1,000 people, who are these 1,000 people? They have names. They have identities. If you are doing a good work, tell us, okay, we have freed these people. Here is the list. These are the people we have petitioned the petitioners. Here is the petition. Let us know. Be transparent with the whole list. It's a whole process. But you tell us that you've given amnesty to some people. Who are they? Because look, now when you do that, you now create room for conjecture. You now create room for rumor. You now create for people to come up with all sort of theories. Now, one of the theories going around is that the people that are freed are NDC members. The people that are freed is just a continuation of the knowledge protocol process, selecting out people who are supposed to be allied to the government and freeing them. Now, you can debunk this by simply giving us a list. Let's look at who is on the list. I mean, it's not a secret. They are prisoners. They are in prison. And once you're in prison, you are, for want of a better word, the property of the state. So if you are telling us that these are the people, let us know. Be transparent throughout the whole process. You don't cherry pick. Now, people said, okay, people mentioned 2 names. You say, oh, they are not on the list. Okay, who else is on the list? What is it on the list that is so scary that you cannot give us? Remember, His Excellency the President made a promise during the campaign that when he comes there, people who have been locked or jailed because of Galamsey, they'll be freed. They'll be sent home. Are they part of the list? Some of the people that were given it, were they the Galamseyers that the president has freed? And so he doesn't want us to know that he's freeing Galamseyers so that we'll think that he's being soft on Galamsey. Are they part of the list? No, so you can cure all this mischief. You can remove all this by simply telling us that these are the people. Here are their names. So that we will know who is there, who is not there. Don't try to cherry pick the truth. Don't try to cherry pick the information and then claim that you are being what? What's the name? You are being transparent. That's not transparency. That's just playing hide and seek with information and with data. With regards to the death penalty, I agree with you. Look, sometimes when things happen to you, you just wish that the person should just even be killed even without a trial. But then you now realize, no. So I'm happy. Look, I don't think any Ghanaian president will ever sign a death certificate. I don't think they will do it. Because that's not where the country is. We are a country that something happened immediately, everybody is out against it, mad, but a day or two, then we say, Famanyame. So when you see that happening, it becomes difficult for you to think that. So the idea that we should commit to life, first of all, I agree with the idea that that person should not be seen walking on our streets again after committing some of the most heinous crimes. So if it is life without parole, if it's life sentence, that's okay, because we are not going to kill them. We are not going, no president is going to sign those penalties. And again, I'm also happy. But there's also a broader conversation to be had about how we deal with the people behind scenes. First-time offenders, yes. There's somebody, look, somebody said there's somebody who stole a goat, he's in prison. There's somebody who's alleged to have spent millions and millions of GDs, he has received a nolle prosecute. There's somebody who stole a bunch of cassava from the market, he's in prison. There's somebody who has misappropriated, misused billions of Ghanaian cedis, he's received a nolle prosecute, he's sitting at home now drinking tea. Non-confinement as a way of punishment should be considered. We should do alternative dispute resolutions. We should be able to sentence people to community services. We should be able to sentence people to go and sweep the market and sweep the gutters. These days it's raining. There's a lot of standing water. There's grass. Let them cut the grass. Let them stay, take care of their families and do that. Non-custodial sentence should be considered as one of the most important, especially for first-time non-repeat offenders. Because what happens sometimes is that you go to prison and you get hardened up. And then you have no skill. And then when you come out, so you are unemployed, you have no skill, you are hardened up criminal. What are you going to do? You are going to commit a crime again. So let's consider non-custodial, especially for victimless crimes. Okay. Especially for them. If we do that, then secondly, the people that are there, the prisons might not have all the equipment, all the instruments to train them in the skill to come out. We can also use them. Sometimes you see that you are walking on the street, you see some prisoners doing cleanup and this and that. We should encourage that. We should even encourage private sector organizations, civil society organizations, businesses to hire these people for work. Maybe they will feed them, so it will take a lot of feeding, reduce the feeding cost of the president or the government. Give them skills, give them training. We should find a more humane way of transforming the people that are in prison.
Okay. If you visit Article 72 of the Constitution, says that the president, it gives the president the power, acting in consultation with the Council of State, to exercise prerogative of mercy. Yes. Now, I do not find in anywhere of this that it suggests that the names should be provided. I do not find that. I could be wrong. But if you recall in 2020, when ex-President Nana Addo Dankwa also granted a little over 800 prisoners amnesty, I do not recall the debate as to whether they are NDC or NPP. Then as well, in consulting, the prisons, the administrative process of it, I do not see how that can as well be political. Because it's not that the right is given to him exclusively. You see that it is in consultation with certain institutions as well. How then do we arrive that because there is a session that you want to chew on this, I'll go to the other panelists, then you chew on it first. I mean,
I thought the follow-up was so I'll clarify what I meant. Because the same law does not prevent the president from making the list public.
Absolutely. Okay.
You know,
you chew on
I've listened to Dr. Zaato, and you see, this is the hypocrisy that we have in this country. And you've hit it right on the spot. During the tenure of President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, Dr. Zaato was in this country. No single person in the NDC said those things that they are saying today, claiming that there are people that are perceived to be NDC people, that they should make the list public for everybody to see. Did you ask Nana Addo to make list public when he gave amnesty?
Should I answer?
Did you ask
You answer when you get to your turn.
You see?
I'll note it down, okay.
Then he goes ahead and talks about nolle prosecuting, indicating that is it another extension of that bit? But then you sit here, forgetting about your national service scheme, the mess that is there. None of you are talking about those ones. You decide to pick and choose, and when we say it, you say we are not being truthful. Look. It was a whole process. The amnesty process involves review of cases by the Prison Service Council. Now, They are an institution that deals with their prisoners every day. Now, the president couldn't have just gone ahead to give amnesties to these people without these processes. In fact, it started with the Council of State. From the Council of State, it goes to the Prison Services Council. From there, they come up with their list. And I'm sure that there's a process, an elaborate process, that doesn't make the president decide on who should be on the amnesty list or who shouldn't be on the amnesty list. What I'm saying is that we've indicated and we've seen the categories of people that have been granted this amnesties. Let us as a nation believe that our prison institutions should not be a place of punishment, but should be a place of reforms. And if these are things that the Prison Service Council have realized that with these individuals, they've reformed and they want to reintegrate them into the society, let's take out the politics out of it. We've politicized everything in this country. And at the end of the day, if we don't take care, we wouldn't have a country to call our own.
Your Excellency, do you envisage any challenge at all with this provision in the Constitution?
I don't.
You don't envisage any challenge at all?
I don't. Because the framers of the Constitution, I'm sure that had good reasons why they didn't ask that those names should be put out there. There should be a reason why. The lawyers will tell us the reason why names of individuals who are granted amnesties are not supposed to be publicized. I'm sure that if the framers of the Constitution decided that whoever is given amnesty should be published, of course, there will be a list. The list will be with the Prison Service Council. And I'm sure that if Dr. Zaato or any other person wants to know whether the list is full of NDC people, you should go to the Prison Service Council and ask them for the information, rather than saying that the president or the government is trying to, cover up something. We are not covering up anything. The president has exercised his constitutional rights, and I'm sure that as a country we should be proud about it.
Mr. Moni, do you as well envisage any challenge with this right that the president has in granting amnesty?
Before I answer your question, let me credit the Daily Graphic with a brilliant piece of investigative journalism. And they've gone beyond the official statements to fish out names who are not on the list of the amnesty. But according to Graphics quoting trusted sources, the names do not include Patricia Sidu Siama, popularly known as Nana Granda, and the chief executive of the defunct Capital Bank, William Atuesian, or other prominent names serving time in prison. I think this is Graphic has done as a world of good, and the credit to the reporter, Kester Abraham Koranchi, and editor Theo. Again, I believe the right to know again comes into play here. The people have the right to know. So we ought to pile up pressure on officialdom. We can leverage our contacts, use all the, we have means of obtaining stories, getting to the bottom of issues. So it's not too late for the media to sharpen their lenses on the names who are benefiting from this amnesty, so that the public, this debate about whether some people have been favored, other right or unjustifiably, will be put to rest. So,
except my mind is just twirling that even for us, for media, when you're reporting on crimes, if a person is a suspect, even sometimes convicted, you're asked to blur the person's face. So how do we balance this kind of reportage with as well trying to fish out names and as well publish it?
But once you have incarcerated, you lose that right.
You lose that right of privacy.
That's right, because before being sentenced, you are presumed innocence, and which is in line with the law. Everybody is presumed innocent until found guilty by a court of competent jurisdiction. So, but once it is shown, it is proven that you've fallen foul of the law, then that right of having your face covered,
lost it.
You automatically.
And when you are granted, you're relieved of all of these crimes. Why then would you want to take my privacy away then? Because I'm still not 7 at the time that I've been granted the amnesty.
Once a prisoner, once your name is enshrined, in the books that you've committed this crime, and as I said, once.
Unfortunately.
Yes, unfortunately, yes. These are some of the hazards which come with incarceration.
Okay. We'll get into the numbers, but respond, of course, I recall.
You see, the law you mentioned. Did the law say that the president should issue a statement telling that he has released the people?
Then it leaves him without discretion then.
Exactly.
So are you demanding it when you're requesting?
No, I'm making a point here.
Yeah.
You see, when he said that, that's the thing. The reason why the president has issued that statement is to show that he's been transparent. That is, he's trying to show up his governance or democratic governance bona fides. Okay. So go all the way. My point is that if the law didn't ask you to publish the list, you chose to do it. The law didn't say you should tell us that you've pardoned people. You could have just done it without anybody knowing. The law still protects, he still has that power. I'm not questioning that power to grant them. And I'm not saying that the law says that he should no. But I'm saying that it's discretionary power. So if you are going to tell us that you're free people, then go all the way. Secondly, he makes a statement that it was similarly done under the previous government. And nobody asked the question. Why are we asking the question now? Then I ask, so where's the reset? You said you are resetting. If the governance of the former, if the way the former president governed was wrong, and now you promise that you are going to do good governance, you are going to do better governance, shouldn't you go a step further than that? Shouldn't you improve the governance? If he did not issue so maybe it's possible that that list too had MPP members. It's possible that that list too had MPP cronies. We condemn that as you are now saying that was bad governance. Shouldn't you then improve it to now say, look, my hands are clean. Unlike the man before, I am better at governance. Unlike the man before, I am now in a reset government. Unlike the man before, I am better. Here is my list. Here's my hand.
Is that a fair request?
So listen. So to say that if we are questioning, there's something that sometimes you see members of the government do. When you criticize and you question, they will go back. Meanwhile, we are supposed to be going forward.
Criticize is constructive.
No, but it's constructive. I'm not saying, I'm not questioning the president.
Dr. Zaato,
of course, it's a criticism. I choose. So you can then tell me that, look,
yes, you are
it's the same thing with the flight.
Yes.
Until Honorable Vice on other Ghanaians start asking questions, we were just told that the president is traveling from Ghana to Japan to Singapore. That's all. How is the president going? Is he going on a donkey? How is he going? Tell us. You see, you claim you want to be transparent, but then you are hiding more. The information the government, that's what I'm saying, that they are in this Tom and Jerry thing. The information they are gathering is like a bikini generation. Sorry for saying that.
No, Dr. Zaato,
they make it look like they are releasing the information, but what they are covering is more than what the bikini is showing. And that is a problem. That's why people don't trust the government when they releases. If you are going to release, tell us, the president is traveling from here, he's going by this flight from Accra to here, and he's coming back. Very simple, straightforward. What he talked about, he used the US president to erect.
Dr. Zaato, 1 second. Dr. Zaato said something. You indicated that is a president traveling by donkey. I think that we should be very decorous when we have our conversation. I'm sure President Nana-Addo never traveled outside on a bicycle.
No, I've not said he's traveled. Oh, come on.
He's never traveled.
You understood the context. I said, no. I like the way you are latching onto this. The context. Yes, the context. No. But you are latching onto it to make mischief. That is not what I said.
It's not a matter of
it's mischief. Come on, Mr. Afonimafo here. He says they know what I meant.
It's not.
They know what I meant.
You see,
they know what I meant.
Dr. Zaato asked, is he traveling on a donkey? He didn't assert that.
Yeah, he did. So I put that within the context that you cannot just say the president is traveling to Japan and Singapore without telling us how he's going there.
Yes. So the route is what you need, or
how
when
did you know?
going?
How is he going?
How?
Because you see, why are we talking about this? We are talking about the context of the president traveling. Either he went commercial or private.
But you're just asking that in the past, the NDC government or Okudzeto Ablakwa constantly was on this matter. You've just asked the question, reset. So if the government has decided to reset by not providing you...
Oh, so the reset is not to provide information accountability. No, I agree. No, that's a reset to agree. That's another reset. In this said, then we said, okay, we will not make the information available. Oh, that's good. That's a good
one. we make the information we think is important to the people.
No, but what is important? More is better in this case. Let us know. The government is traveling. The president is traveling our tax dollars. At the past, we said it was important. Okudzeto Ablakwa made us know that it was important for us to know. And I agree with him because, again, it's the taxpayers' money. And so he's going on our behalf and he's spending on our behalf. It's okay. So let's continue with that tradition of accountability and transparency that he asked for. That includes how is he going? How many people are going? What is the total cost?
How much is the cost?
I would have expected that, especially he, as the Minister of Foreign Affairs, should give us this so that we don't even go into speculation. Imagine we had that information. What are we talking about now? All we know is that the president is traveling this way. This is how much the whole cost. These are the people he's going with. This is how much it will cost. That's all simple. We would have had that information. It is because if you ask for transparency and accountability in the past, You should continue with it under the recent government.
Okay.
But you cannot be seen to be juxtaposed, to be choosing and picking what you want and try to conflate the information. No.
Your Excellency, that's a fair request, is it not?
Like I've indicated, I know that very soon government will issue a statement indicating how the president traveled, the number of people that he traveled with. It is clear that the president traveled commercial. Asafo has had a retreat, and I've indicated that, yes, his checks have confirmed that the president traveled commercial. I think that in fairness, when we try to criticize government on certain things that they do or we don't do, we should also look at precedents and ensure that we don't seem to condemn something today just because there's a new government that is doing things differently. I think that there should not be any hue and cry about the president traveling commercial, the president travel with ABCD amount of people. I think that the communication minister would have to do that because the Ghanaian people deserve to know exactly how the president traveled and all of that. But you see, my only concern is when we try to say certain things or indicate that we want certain things done in a certain way when we know that it is not going to be possible. The president travels. I remember that there was a huge backlash when the president started traveling with the brothers' jet.
Yeah.
I remember that in the interest of nation building, when we lost our comrades recently, how did we go with the sample to South Africa? We needed to go with samples to get things done. It was not right, or it was not going to help the process if we had gone with commercial flight. So what happens? The president brother comes again and helps us. The Minister of Communication on countless occasions has indicated that ABCD amount of money is what we spend on presidential travels. And I'm saying that let us not politicize this thing any longer. If there's a reset agenda that we all believe that the government of the day is trying to achieve, then we should be constructive in whatever thing we say against the president and his travel arrangement. I'm sure that in the days to come, we would be able to put this thing to bear and ensure that the Ghanaian people understand how the president traveled, who he traveled with, and how he comes back into the country.
Okay.
I think yesterday,
let's have Mr.
Yesterday, the Honorable Minister Phyllis Kwachu did indicate that the president traveled on Emirates Airlines. I think that's settled the question.
I think Vincent is very...
Yeah.
He doesn't.
Because
how much
one
is it?
account says he's traveled by private jet.
Yes. That, you say this.
And official dom has come out to state emphatically.
I'm saying it's not because there was a process. When you issue the statement of the travel and you know that these questions were lingering, look, let's not pretend that the issue of the president's travel just came up. No, it has been a major stable. Listen, so you give us the full information. Now you are being reactionary. So should we trust that information from the government? You should have told us, what were you hiding? Why were you forced to give us that information?
What should
because
they have
if
told
the minister,
us?
no, you should have told us, look, Mr. President will be traveling on this and he's going, this is how he's going. These are the number of people going with him. This is how much it will cost the journey to come back. That is full transparency. That is full accountability. You did not do that. It's the same thing with the with the prisoners that I'm talking about. You made a campaign promise that when I come, I will free people who have done Galamsey. You said that. It was a campaign promise. You went and told them, you have come back, you have freed almost 1,000 people. How many of those Galamsey incarcerated people are on that list? Now you say we are being mischievous. So put out the list to kill the mischief. Sometimes when there's darkness, it's light that you need. Just put out the list. Then we'll cross-check. Okay, you were considered by Galamsey. You are not on the list. Okay, you were not. Your Excellency, sorry, you are not you are not on the list. So let's do that. But so long as you hold on to that list, so long as we do the people, then it is only fair for us to conjecture, for us to hypothesize, for us to theorize that it's possible Galamseyers are on the list. You are only redeeming your campaign promise. That is fair.
Mr. Money, I won't go to his
I doubt if there's any precedence in this country where the cost of presidential travel has been made public. Means of transport is of huge importance because of what has happened over the years. And the capital, the then opposition party, MDC, made of that means of travel And as I said yesterday, he says the Minister of Information or the Minister of Presidential, the presidential spokesperson came up publicly to state that the president went on Emirates Airlines. But the cost of travel, I shudder and shiver to endorse. I believe the borders on national security, how much the president is traveling with. This can ignite all kinds of debate, all kinds of arguments and all that.
But in the past, exactly. Honorable Blackwell was dishing out
how much.
Yeah, he told us the cost of the planes.
Will that not be the cost of travel? Okay.
Yeah,
the cost of travel. No.
The cost of travel.
So was he being reckless with the life of President Akufo-Addo? Was Okudzeto Blackwell being reckless with the life of the former president when he disclosed this? If he wasn't being reckless, are we being reckless now and asking for it? Come on.
Okay,
so my point is, I don't recall. No. I don't think I recall.
He told us the cost of the flight. He did.
Let's have 1 minute. I can check. I can have that.
No.
He told us the cost of the flight.
No.
Maybe I
so was he being reckless with Akufo-Addo's life?
In I think July 2022, Okudzeto Blackwell gave a statement and said President Nana Addo incorrigibly rents a €20,000 an hour, luxury jet.
Good. 20,000 euro.
When we talk about waste, when we talk about somebody who is insensitive to the people, this is a classical example. Today, Dr. Zaato wants us to say that President John Dramani Mahama traveled on a commercial flight. They should tell us that how much did he pay? It's not rocket science. If you've traveled on Emirates before and they say your president is on Emirates, you know how much Emirates pays.
I don't know.
It's public knowledge.
So tell us.
So if you want to know, you would know if you are not playing mischief. If you want to know that we are claiming that the president traveled on Emirates. Emirates first class, we know how much they charge. Emirates business class, we know how much they charge. If you are running to the press, like Asefwa did, you should have this. You see, I tell my friends in the MPP that the likes of Okudzeto Blackwell, when we were in opposition, they did elaborate and extensive investigation in issues before they jumped to the public. You cannot overnight become Okudzeto Blackwell like he used to be when we were in opposition, because these are facts that he put out there. Dr. Zaato, your honorable member of parliament who started this has come out to say that he has found out that indeed the president traveled on Emirates, on a commercial flight. I expected you to say, oh, that was a mistake and it has been corrected. Then you ask your second thing, how much did the president pay? But you see, you are jumping from that one. You are not saying that, look, we should put out right information there. If we don't put out right information, Dr. Zaato, the president of the Republic of Ghana needs to be protected. The president of the Republic of Ghana is our #1 citizen.
Your Excellency, I am happy that this, all of a sudden, you've realized that the president should be protected.
No.
When it was Akufo-Addo, he should not be protected. When it is John Dramani, he made a point. Okay, I've got my calculator here. Let's calculate. I want to calculate.
What are you calculating?
I have a calculator. What are you calculating? He says please calculate the cost. Let's do that. Help me. Okay, Emirates.
I wouldn't.
Listen, he said how much is it? If you tell us how much Emirates first class costs, and then you tell us how many people with the president, I will can tabulate it there. The viewers can tabulate it. So that's what we are saying, that you've not given us enough information to work with. Tell us that if,
we want to go away from what happened in the past.
Imagine Emirates first class is $1, and then there are 20 people traveling. It's $20.
Let's have a sanitized conversation. So you recall that it's not the government at the time of the MPP that told us how much it cost to rent a private jet or whatever. It was an investigation.
Thank you.
But here you are asking the government of today to provide you or furnish you with that information.
Thank you. Do you know why they investigated that? Because the government then did not give us that information. The government then was being, let's say, opaque with that information. So somebody, a member of parliament had to go his way to provide us. Why was he doing that? I don't believe that he hated Akufo-Addo. I don't believe that he was doing that because he wanted Akufo-Addo to die in the air. No. I think that he wanted to do it probably because of what? Good governance, because of transparency. Now,
so the same man, of that.
Good. The same man has now justiced to be the minister of foreign. In fact, the right man. Shouldn't he continue with that principle of saying that, okay, look, when I was in the position, I wanted transparency, I wanted accountability, I wanted this amount of information. I wasn't given. Today I have all that information on my hand. Shouldn't he feel that was that? That is what I'm saying. When you don't do that, people then begin to question your motives of why you were doing it. Okay. If you were doing it for transparency and good governance back then, and it was okay, it was fair, why don't you continue? Why do you demand transparency from Akufo-Addo, but you don't want to demand transparency accountability from John Dramani Mahama? What is the difference?
Okay. Good question.
The height of hypocrisy.
Okay.
So you ask the question and answer yourself.
Oh, yes, answer it. So you see what Dr. Zaato is doing. You ask a clinical question, and he has just meandered his way out of there.
Thank you. That's good. I'm happy about it.
The Honorable Okujeto Ablakwa did an extensive investigation. The government
Why?
of the day.
What was the value of that?
No, the government, your government of the day at that time didn't give Okujeto those information.
Agreed.
He investigated and got the information.
Agreed.
With the current crop of MPP people that we have, if you even come out and give them the figure, they'll still say, this is not right. That's why I'm saying that do your investigations like we did in time past and came up with the information. If you had done a better investigation, you would not even start with the Ghanaian people and lie to them that the president traveled with a private jet when indeed he had traveled with a commercial flight.
I think what I'm saying is on the entourage.
No, why should we do investigation when you have the information? So the man who wanted clean hands, the man who wanted honest transparency, he now has the information. Why doesn't he just give it to us?
Dr. Zaato, if you are saying this today, that we were talking about clean hands, in time past, it was worse than this.
Agreed.
And the good people of Ghana said, look.
Where's the reset?
The good people of Ghana said, because of your nature of governance, over 1 million people gave the NDC and President Mahama an overwhelming endorsement.
Is this a difficult tax for the government?
No, it's not. It shouldn't be.
How much will it cost the government?
Exactly. We need to know how much has been spent. But you see, when you spin politics around this, that is where I say we have to grow from. He just asked, and you asked a very clinical question. How many people were on the entourage? Which is a very important question to answer. And then with the Emirates rates and other things, everybody knows it. So I'm sure that the Minister of Communication, so far as that statement has been given out that the president was traveling and traveled commercial, will lay the facts bare for all of us.
I have a question, Dr. Zaato.
Thank you.
So you believe the government if they came out to provide figures on the travel, but you will not believe the government when they provide the prisoners and the numbers that they have. You don't believe that.
So you see, in all that, I'm asking for more transparency, more opinion. So in other words,
will there ever be an end?
No. Listen, my argument is very simple. You release prisoners, show us the names.
Will there ever be an end?
There will be, because there will be. Remember, my point is that this governance, accountability and transparency are cornerstones of good governance, of open and transparent governance. This is what I'm saying. Yesterday, you were an angel of transparency and accountability. Yesterday, you were a prophet of transparency and accountability. Today, the information that you were asking for, the information that you wanted the public to have, you now have it. All of a sudden, we are saying, give us the information, like, no. That's just like we say, you have it. Give it to us. No, give it to us in that same spirit. You went out of your way to research and get information. Kudos, bro. You did very well back then. But now you don't have to do it. You have it. Because see, my point, what was the value of those investigations? What was the value of giving out that research? I believe the value was to hold Akufo-Addo accountable and make his governance transparent. That is the value.
Same spade for.
So if that was the value, why don't you continue? Now that you are here, you shouldn't even let anybody serve. You should say, look, hey,
I suppose the government is hearing.
If you don't do that, then it meant that you have an ill motive.
Let's make progress and let's get back to the amnesty conversation, because then we're quite focused on the political debate of the amnesty, the granting of the amnesty. But let's look at the broader picture. Do you believe that over the years, we've had people really reform, rehabilitate, and are able to be reinstated in society without any social challenge at all? Do we believe this? Do we have that firm belief? Maybe I would have Mr. Moni.
I think in the past, rehabilitation and other forms of alternative punishment have been so missing in an act of clemency by the president. So the time has come to take a hard look at our prisons, number one. There are many who are in there to know further. There's fair fall of the law. Some were framed up. And look at this issue of 2 men with babies. babies who have not committed any crime, but yes, they were compelled to experience prison life, and this was going to have a toll on them as they socialize. So we all know that our prisons are so financially disabled. Prison service is chronically underfunded. So the time has come for the government to look at how best to make the human beings who are behind bars, who sleep in the congested rooms, who are denied basic necessities of life, whose dignity is trampled upon with impunity. So the time has come for the government. This is the time. It's not enough. It's good to grant amnesty because that's psychological relief when you are taken out of prison. But we should go beyond that and look at alternative options of dealing with prisons. Like in the modern world, we have like a house arrest with monitoring.
Mr. Money, even when there was COVID and we needed to isolate ourselves, it was a challenge. Do you believe that we can house arrest as a form of...
No, he's suggesting that going for...
Does it look like... But if you just scan this country, were we in the position for house arrest? Or
we ought not to swim against the tide. This is the tide in certain countries. And we should be developing. And developing is not brick and mortar. Developing takes so many forms.
Right.
Reforming our prison, making the human beings there feel like human beings. You know, your circumstances, is that your circumstances do not tell who you are. And your situation, can change. Many of those who are in prison, who are destined to be great, who are destined to help this country scale up in development in all dimensions, but they are in prisons. And we have people who have prison graduates who have moved on to become men and women of substance, men and women who are celebrated. So this should prompt us, this should push us on to ensure that now we go beyond granting amnesty, taking a hard look at the conditions in the prison, making them habitable, making our prisons habitable, making the human beings comfortable, whilst also exploring the alternative means of dealing with prisoners.
Your Excellency, do you envisage any form of security threat at all? At all? One with the numbers, they're nearly 1,000. And if you look at it, the first-time offenders carries the larger portion of the total number of prisons that have been granted amnesty. If you look at it carefully, does it pose any form of security threat at all?
I think that the process have been so elaborate, especially when it has to do with the Prisons Service Council. I'm sure that these are people that have a one-on-one every day with the prisoners that we have. So I'm sure that on the committee that met to grant these amnesties would have looked at the people on an individual basis. I'm sure that government acting also in the interest of national security will not release people that are deemed to be dangerous to our society. I believe that our prisons should be places of reform. Currently, our prisons are not a place of reform. We understand the challenges, like Dr. Alfred Money said, where even it's so congested that the way they sleep, when we look at those pictures and images, we ask ourselves, what kind of reform can be able to take place in such an environment? So it's time that government looks at how we'll be able to make more use of our prisons in that quest to rehabilitate people that are sent there. If we leave it at the state that it is, then everybody will start getting scared when people are being released because they'll say there's security threat. But if we are able to reform the prison institutions and make them a place where people who are falling short of the law are taken to for them to be reformed, then we will not have this conversation of getting scared when any of them are being released or on amnesty and other. I think that we have, as a nation, neglected our prisons far too long. We should look at how we'll be able to help ensure that we are able to channel our resources well towards the prison services so that they are able to reform a lot of our citizenry who are falling short of the law and are taken to those places.
Have we done well as a country in following up with persons that have been granted amnesty? See how well they're doing? Have they been reintegrated into society as expected? The kind of reforms that they have received in prison, they're living up to it? Or maybe when we grant the amnesty, begins and it ends there. I've not heard of such post-granting amnesty programs or anything of the sort of projects yet. But let me have Dr. Zaato with a sinister look on his face.
It's my mischievous brother.
Yeah.
You see, Your Excellency, you see,
With a sinister look on his face.
Your Excellency.
React to these questions.
Look, theoretically, yes. Prison is supposed to reform and rehabilitate.
Yeah.
In Ghana, our prisons are to punish, punish, and punish. In fact, it's not only in Ghana. Even if you go to America and other places, there is now prisons are now a big business.
Yeah.
In America and other places, and it's coming down here gradually, that there are private prisons, and the morality and the ethics of private prisons are just ridiculous that it begins to question why we do this. My point is that, look, there are ways we can avoid these things. First of all, they are non-custodial sentences. And I've said this, and it's not mischief. And we must say it. In this country, and all of them, if you have committed a crime and you are rich, you get the best of lawyers, you will never go to jail. In fact, it's not only in this country. Let me put that all over the world. That's why the rich never go to jail, because you can have the best of lawyers, the best criminal lawyers money can buy. They will make sure that you never see jail. It is the ordinary people who go to jail. The people who steal a bunch of cassava, the people who steal a goat, the people who steal the chicken that you were preparing for Christmas, the people who steal the tuber of yam that you were hoping for your birthday, they go to jail. But the people who are accused of what? Causing financial loss to the state, I'm not being mischievous. They get a nolle prosecute. They get a red carpet to go back home. So how do we begin to do this? One, limit how fast and how quick we send people there by what? Opting for what? Non-custodial sentences. That's one way. Look, you are caught stealing a yam in Tumu Market. As we said, in Jutumu, you are Agapia. You've gone to Tumu Market and you've stolen a yam. Why don't we recommend you to sweep the market every week, every month, for let's say the next 2 months? As a form of community services. Yeah. 2, you were caught stealing cassava in Edum Market in Kumasi. I don't even know whether I just know the name. There's a market called Edum Market in Kumasi.
Yes, it's in Kumasi.
Good. We say, okay, because of that, you will help the Zoom Lion Project to sweep the market. Look, we can come up with various forms. Yeah. In fact, there are even some places we can tell you, look, stand here in the afternoon when children close from school and they're going, help them cross the road. Something as simple as that. If we begin, especially for first-time non-victim offenses and offenses that are not grievous, if we begin to do this, we will then realize that even the amount of money the state will use on these services will reduce. While these people are also kept out of prisons. That is the best way to start. The moment we start, then we can begin to look for, because it's too expensive to rehabilitate them. Then we can also adopt a policy that, look, any prisoner, like for instance, if we were planning to release these people, from the moment we talk about the decision is made, we'll give them 3 months or 1 month. And we say, for this one, prison administration, transition them from incarceration to training. So for instance, those who want to do masonry, push them to the masonry. Those who want to do carpentry, move them to certain training so they acquire certain skills. Because we now know that you have 1 month to go, 2 months to go. So by the time they are leaving, they will come out with these skills. We can get TVET there. TVET can go, they have carpentry and other things to educate them. Thirdly, hopefully there are able men and women there. They can start learning these TVET things. And I know some of them write exams.
That happens as well.
So my point is that we can put on a bed. Look, we shouldn't kid anybody. The prisons in Ghana are not meant to educate or to rehabilitate. They are meant to punish. And until that mentality is done, until that mentality is changed, we are going to continue to see this. But again and again, let's go back. If you want to rehabilitate people, if you want applause for transparency, be transparent throughout, and let's know whom you are releasing. It's very important. If they are Galamsey, yes, then let's know.
Oh my goodness, Dr. Zaato. Okay, let's just wrap the conversation on amnesty on death penalties. I mean, for years, we've really not had this, see any daylight. And I know that as a country, together with institutions such as Amnesty International, I mean, for members of parliament who have championed this cause, we have made some good strides. But the conversation around, entirely eradicating it, is it a good call?
Yeah, right.
It is.
Certainly, yes, because
okay.
death penalty is not only quaint, it is also antiquated. So we are in a modern era. Why put someone to death? There's no advantage in taking the life of anybody. So as Doctor said, we can put them to use alternative means of serving sentences. Sweeping, farming, in agriculture, we have a long way to catch up to meet our basic needs in food supply. They can go into farming, they can go into community service and all kinds, but taking their life is a no-no. It is past. No, it's rooted in the past, rooted in antiquity. We should never revisit.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how, Excellency?
Well, I think in July 2023, Parliament passed
a
law replacing the death penalty to life imprisonment.
Yes.
So it means that as a country, we've started moving away from it. Once the law has been passed, it is something that cannot happen again. And I'm thinking that, like we've indicated, if it is life imprisonment, what are we going to do to help those people on life sentences in our prisons? You see, the concern should be about reforming them in the prisons rather than the punishment. Yes, we understand that the punishment is there already. Once you are incarcerated, the punishment, your freedom is taken away, so it's curtailed. What next? The next thing is to add value to the person's life so that in any day and any time the person is released, we don't have the conversation of believing that, are we safe on our streets? Are we not going to unleash another terror on us again? And if we are able to do that as a country, as I remember President Nelson Mandela said that if you want to see how good a country is, look at how they treat their prisoners. I think he made that statement because he was in prison himself. And he realized that in prison, it is not everybody that is guilty as pronounced. So we should look at reform more than punishment in our prison.
How difficult or easy is it for us to just say, well, if you commit treason, we'll take away even the death penalty and you serve a life turner? I mean, we acknowledge that as a country we have made some good, we've made some progress. And the law that was amended last year saw to that, but still left that one there hanging around our neck. Dr. Zaato, you can respond to that and we'll move to other.
I think we are getting there. Okay. I think we are slowly getting there. Because as I've said, apart from, the last president or head of state that signed a death warrant was Jerry John Rawlings. And that era is gone. Kufuor came, Kufuor told us he was never going to do that. He's a good Catholic. He believes in God. He's not going to do that. After that, all the presidents of Ghana, Professor Mills, there's no way that man is too good to kill somebody. Then we saw President Mahama. He wouldn't do that. Akufo-Addo will not do that. They will not sign it. So, first of all, let's take what we've got. Let's ask, because you see, you don't also want to write this process because, look, there are some people, sometimes when these things happen, when you look at the evil in people when they commit these crimes, you will want to be the one to hang them or to shoot them. So I'm saying that it's a process. We are getting there. The whole country is moving there. We shouldn't rush it. There's a reason why over the last, 40 years or so, the state has not killed anyone in prison. Let's continue. And the advocacy should continue. The people that are calling for it should continue. And the politicians are listening. It's because of this pressure and advocacy that they made those changes. So let's continue. But I believe that we'll get there soon. I believe that one day the president will just say, let's take it up. Because see, it's because sometimes when you see what people have done, but I believe that we'll get there. But we shouldn't rush it. It's one of the, remember, sometimes in this country we rush to make laws, to make institutions, then before we realize we are struggling with it. Let's do that. One of them is this LI or mining. We rush to do it, and all of a sudden it's hanging around our necks like a sort of Damocles. And the government say, we will repeal it. They've come and they are pussyfooted. They are not going to remove it. Again, it's one of those things. So let's make sure that we don't rush on this one too, so that later on we're like, let's go back to, once we take our time.
Did you say something my ear caught?
No, I didn't say anything. Pardon my French. Pardon my French. I didn't say anything. So once we keep doing that, once we move in the progress we are making, we eventually get there. So that we'll make sure by the time we get there, there will be no regrets. There will be no calls to reinstate it. I think if we take our time, we'll get there.
Okay. Let's have this very interesting conversation about the number of prophecies that the office that requested religious leaders to submit their prophecies. And recall that statement said for review. So far, that office has received a little over 200 prophecies. I'll start with you.
You see, this is what happens when you appoint a lot of busybodies in the Jubilee House. They have no job to do. They are drawing salary. They will try to create jobs for themselves. And that is why we've seen from this directive.
Pardon? It's an indictment on.
Let's let him land and
Yes, yes. I'm being honest. That's what happens when you appoint a lot of busy, but this will have nothing to do. And also, what only job for the boys. Look, we have a minister of chieftaincy and religious affairs.
Yeah.
Then we have a deputy minister of chieftaincy and religious affairs, right? Then you now still go to the Jubilee House. You now appoint a presidential advisor on chieftaincy. I mean, what kind of duplicity is this? It's just ridiculous. Look, just tell me. So he's sitting down there, and their jobs are conflicting. So what is the Minister of Religious and Chieftaincy Affairs supposed to do? And his deputy. Then somebody else is there. So he has no job to do. What does he do? He creates a job for himself. He comes out to create a job for himself so that he'll be busy to justify his salary. No, I'm being honest with you.
I don't think he created that office.
No, I'm not saying he created the office. This thing, because nobody knows. If I tell you honestly, with all honesty, you are a journalist. If I tell you to list the top 5 objectives of that office, what he's doing, will you tell me? What
was the National Day of Prayer and Thanksgiving.
I mean, come on. So my point is the National Day of Prayer, that's one. What else? Why then do we have a Minister of Culture and Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs? To be doing what? Why then do we have his deputy? My point is that this office is needless. And these offices, a lot of them were created in Jubilee House so that the president can justify that he's kept these ministers under 60. Meanwhile, you are appointing people whose jobs are almost that of minister or deputy ministers in the Jubilee House. We have a lot of them. I can go through a lot of them.
Well, where we are now, we have that office. We have 200 prophecies.
Think about it. Exactly. So how is the process? Again, transparency. What is the methodology for reviewing them? What is the framework for reviewing them? Who are those on the panel? Who are those on the board? How did they come? I said, I have a prophecy. God spoke to me. Then you say, write it down, give it to me, I'll review. Did God speak to you? Did you also get a revelation from God? Look at the Bible. Those of us who went to Bible school or catechism, we're told that God gives revelations. So imagine Abraham came there and said, oh, the burning bush. And now you say, my friend, you must justify why you saw the burning, how you saw the burning bush. You see, what the minister is trying to use what we call empiricism. He's trying to use empirical evidence to evaluate something that is normative, that's not spiritual. It doesn't work. Empirical evidence and spirituality don't work. Spirituality is based on faith, it's based on belief. To try to not subject same to what? Empirical empiricism is just an exercise in futility. And that's the point. Because look, that's what don't take it from me, take it from Cardinal Texan. He's actually in the Vatican office for these things. And he's telling you that is not going to work. Take it from people who do this. You see, don't. My point is that prophets are going to prophesy since time immemorial. In fact, where I come from, there are soothsayers, they are going to participate in their soothsayers. Because tomorrow is going to go there. Hey, any soothsayer, whatever you've done, subject it to this. Why? In fact, that's the question. Why has it left it to only the prophets? What about the malam? What about the soothsayers? Religious people. So go to my village and tell soothsayers, hey, my friend, you've consulted the gods. Let me know how you consulted God. Write it and bring it for review. If you want
Are you certain that that's really the crux of the request?
What is it?
That's because the spirit behind the
because
request.
We don't know. He's not told us the spirit behind it. Because if he has to tell us,
but even the constitution that is guided, we don't see it. They say the spirit behind the letter. We don't see it.
Go go full scale. Tell me that, tell the public. Bring all your prophecies. So even if you are preaching and in the middle God prophesies to you, stop. Record it. Bring it to us.
I think that's very mechanical.
So,
but you have had enough time.
So tell us but this is so fair. Tell us the methodology.
You want the methodology?
Tell us the framework.
The framework.
The panel. Who are those on the panel?
Okay.
How long will it take for a review?
Okay.
And then what do you do after that?
5. Okay. I'm certain that you're watching and they're listening. Your Excellency, I'll jump and I'll come to Mr. Moni and I'll come to you for that.
My take is blunt, brutally simple. There's no compelling justification for asking people to send their prophecies to an office where they be vetted and all that. And you don't need Sherlock to predict that that office is going to be flooded with all kinds of prophecies. Some rooted in fact, some are just the imaginations of people who don't want to take advantage of the system and then feed fast. One pastor was asking whether they be given transport to send their prophecies to that
Very
office.
valid. Very valid. It's a valid statement.
So policy review is part of good governance. This is a policy proposal which is dead on arrival. So officialdom to take a hard look at this policy, withdraw it in the name of good governance and in the interest of the good people of Ghana.
Okay. Your Excellency, what do you think is the real thing that Ms. Elvis Afriyankra wanted to say that probably we don't have clarity on?
I think, like we've all indicated, we are a country of God, a country that has a lot of Christians. So much so that we had a president in this country who said he had made a personal promise to God to build a temple, a cathedral, if he won an election. And that man who said that at that time, people like Dr. Zaato were so much happy about it and said, I
still support the cathedral, though.
Okay.
I still want us to build it.
Misplaced priority. Misplaced priority.
Who determines priority? Who determines
misplaced
that?
Priority.
Who determines that?
So President John Mahama will not glorify that. We all know that God doesn't stay in man-made temples.
Yeah, he does.
If you worship God, God would even not agree with you building a temple for him at a time where your citizenry are suffering, because he wouldn't come and dwell in that temple. So what I'm saying is that I think that the Honorable Ebisifiri Ankara, within this short period of time, has tried to explain what exactly his outfit is seeking to do. But if there's any case of duplicity, like we said, that there are other ministries that are working that shouldn't have a whole office. You talk about job for the boys. If you want to tell you what we met, positions of this government when they are at the Jubilee House, I'm sure that Dr. Zaato will not talk about job for the boys in the NDC administration. They created what we mean when you talk about job for the boys. That is what they did. We are not doing that. We have indicated that, look, we've cut down on government numbers or employees' numbers and all of that.
But the cost has gone up.
If that's the only logic you and the Honorable Oponkuma give.
No, it's true.
And when we ask you, you just flip-flop. But I'm not going to go into that. All I'm going to say right now is that, look, this issue about prophecy and others, I think as a country we need to take it serious. I was telling a friend that in olden days, in Bible times, we are told that God reveals to redeem.
Yeah.
But it's only in this country that when our prophets are able to reveal, they wait until somebody died before they say, oh, but I saw this vision. I saw something. I think and that is where the Honorable Efiri Ankara is coming from. He's indicating that if you've seen the vision, if you've seen the prophecy, what can we do to avert whatever catastrophe will happen out of it? And I think as a nation, we need to look at that, not to encourage people to always be prophets of doom, but prophets who are able to change whatever bad obstacle or whatever issue that is going to happen to us as a country or individuals in the country. I'm sure that let's not duplicate positions. Let's ensure that we work in cohesion. If he needs to work with some sector ministry, why not? We should look at it from that angle.
These 5 requests that Dr. Zaato has just requested, does it look like something that is feasible? You ask one, framework. You ask methodology. But framework will be in the methodology.
It can be different. You can give us theoretical framework, you can give us a methodology, you can give us a theoretical, whatever you do. You can give us the panel, tell us who's the panel, tell us their credentials, whatever, and tell us the how. Give us a timeline. If we send you a prophecy, how long is, what is the turnaround? What's the turnaround?
What's the turnaround?
Who mind me doesn't already ask them. What is the turnaround? So if I send you a prophecy, let's say today is Saturday night, tomorrow is Sunday, I get a prophecy and I send you that night. Should I wait for a response before I announce the prophecy?
No,
tomorrow?
You call Ebisifiri Ankara immediately.
You call Ebisifiri, or you drive to his house. You see, that's what I'm saying. You're talking about duplicity. You have a minister of religious affairs, the deputy minister of religious affairs, and they have a whole ministry made of up to 1,000 or hundreds of experts, policy experts there. Then you still go to the Jubilee House, and you have a man responsible for religious affairs. He has no job. He has to create a job for himself to justify his pay and his emoluments. It's not fair. That's what you are doing to the good people of this country. Everywhere you look, we have a minister of agriculture, deputy minister of agriculture, you have a special president.
Let me quote him for you. Mr. Free Ankara clarify that his office is not solely dedicated to processing for prophecies. Its broader mandate includes collaboration with international and local faith bodies, including ECOWAS, the African Union, the United Nations, and religious groups across Ghana.
And the Minister of Religious Affairs cannot do that? His deputy cannot do that? Minister of Foreign Affairs cannot cooperate with ECOWAS and all this things for that? Come on.
You know,
job for the boys.
No. Oh, You want to talk about job for the boys?
Yes.
You want to?
Yes,
really
let's
talk
do it.
about
Yes, let's talk.
No.
I'm ready. Let's talk.
You will
We
not.
even had a social media person in the Jubilee House.
You see, the NDC thinking is this one way. Okay, if you ask for better governance, if you ask for more transparent market, they say, oh, you didn't have it back then. I agree. But then you promise a reset.
And we are doing
that. Say, no, what did you do? So you are just telling me that there was job for the boys.
No, you are
also have job for the boys. You were telling me that there's family and friends government there. But you are now you've now put family and friends on steroids.
Maybe I should talk to Mr. Money.
Okay, yes,
on steroids.
You have family and friends on steroids now.
Really?
Okay.
Yes. Who are they?
You have enough room to prioritize our priorities.
Yes.
But
not a rollover reset.
No, not rollover. But creating an office to collect and process prophecies is incongruous with this reset.
How come when he says you don't attack him? When I say you attack
no, I'm not attacking. But we've all indicated, Dr. Zaato, we've indicated that let's look at the position again. Let's look at exactly. You just read what he meant. I think that we can work around it and get him to do what he's doing without having a duplicate role at the presidency. I believe that, look, the John Mahama administration that we have, we don't take lightly what we promised the good people of Ghana, because never in the history of Ghana, and Dr. Zaato, whether you like it or not, has any government been given this overwhelming endorsement.
So that includes the Galamsey, the freedom for the Galamsey people. You say we don't take lightly their promises.
How did you arrive at this conclusion?
I'm making connections.
Okay.
He said they take their promises serious. That was a campaign promise too.
We take our promises serious to the
So free Galamsey, yes, was a promise too. They take it serious.
When you have Wuntumi engaging Galamsey,
good, you are arrested.
He's walking all around. Walking all around. And people that are not in that financial world.
What about Yamin and Abanga? Yamin and Abanga are also walking around.
They are being investigated.
Wuntumi has actually also been investigated. So you see the selective listing. Wuntumi is not being investigated. You mentioned Wuntumi, you didn't mention Yamin and Abanga.
Yes, because
I'm going to introduce a topic that all of us will be interested in.
Very well.
So IGP to meet political parties over election-related violence and Akwetia by-elections. I like to think that our by-elections in this country are nearly becoming notorious and marred by violence. But here's a statement. The Ghana Police Service has invited political parties to a high-level meeting to deliberate elections-related violence and also preparations for the upcoming parliamentary by-elections in the Akwetia constituency. The framework of this letter tells us the spirit of what I've just read. What kind of by-election do you anticipate in Akwetia following what happened in Apulikuma North, Mr. Moni? What kind of by-election? And I come to you especially because of the position that you have held with the violence that was meted out to journalists, even voters. It's not a sight that as a country we should even remember that happened that day. But that's not where it began and ended. There's been situations before that. But we're looking ahead to Akwetia elections. What kind of elections are you anticipating?
By-elections have gained notoriety for raising tensions, high voltage tensions, and red-hot tempests, which crystallize into violence. And once violence starts, no one can predict when it will end. And we also, it's at Ablekuma North. I was there physically as an observer. And listening, experts will tell you that there's a thin line between threatening to harm and actually harming. Some political activists have warned that they are going to visit mayhem on their opponent at Akwetia. We knew that Ablekuma North was going to be tension-packed. We made some effort at least to prevent what happened from happening in the first place, but we couldn't control. What is the guarantee that Akwetia, if we should pour all our security personnel onto that constituency, there will be no incident of violence? So I made it point, and best repeating, that it's not too late for NDC to withdraw from Akwetia in the name of reciprocity, because MPP is withdrawing from Tamale Central. NDC can take a hard look at that and then withdraw. But in the absence of withdrawal, we should not people should not be allowed to take the law into their hands. There should be enough security to such an extent that there will not be a single incident of violence, because violence, has pushed us down the democratic index. Violence has inflicted a stain on our image as a beacon of democratic accomplishment in this part of Africa. Violence can spell doom for our future as a democracy. So I believe IGP is not only issuing empty threat or just dabbling in empty rhetoric or empty platitudes. The time has come to mobilize everything possible, to do everything humanly possible to ensure that Akwatia by-election is held in an atmosphere of absolute peace and tranquility, so that whoever emerges winner will be acceptable by all sides.
Okay. Your Excellency, do you anticipate a very violence-free Akwatia election, by-election?
I think that the NDC as a political party expects that we have a violence-free by-election in Akwatia. We've had one too many rough incidences during by-elections. And I think as a country, we need to move away from that and tell ourselves that elections are not supposed to be characterized by violence. Elections are just for everybody to exercise their democratic right. You see, the NDC as a party has indicated that we are not withdrawing from the Akwatia by-election.
Why? Do you need that seat?
We have more seats than we need, but we believe that in enhancing our democratic credentials, we don't just say that because of somebody doing it to us. I don't want to go into the figures, but I believe that we had good reasons why we say we are not withdrawing from the Akwatia by-election. One thing is clear, that we will not support any violence in Akwatia. In saying that, we should also expect that if you don't have anything doing in this by-election, you don't go there to go and foment trouble. I've heard from both camps, people say in Akwatia, this will happen, that will happen. And I'm sure that is why the IGP has quickly summoned all the political parties. So let's go by the code of conduct that the IGP is going to give us. Let's follow and adhere to it and ensure that not one violence happens in Akwatia like it has happened in other places. I believe that if we do that, it will be another upgrade in our democratic credentials as a people. Let's not put violence in our elections. I don't think that is what we are as a nation.
Dr. Zaato, before I come to you, do you not think that because over the years we hardly see people or persons or perpetrators punished for electoral crimes, and that's the reason why every day we still see that our elections are marred by violence?
The Amugu guy who assaulted Honorable San, was he not punished? Was he not demoted?
No. Azugu, the Azugu guy.
Was he not demoted? Was he not punished?
He was transferred to the Jubilee House.
So he was not punished. Okay, I don't know about that. But this is what
but even so, that's one out of many.
Exactly. So this is my submission. There's a popular poem out there. It's First They Came. If you Google it, you'll look. It's a powerful poem about the genocide, about the killing of the Jews. Then, first they came for Sam George, and I was West Wagon. Let me say, we said nothing. We did nothing. Even though a commission was set up, even though as a result of his assault, the NPP is on record to say that because of that, they dismantled their Delta Force and their, let me say, military wings. The NPP did that. That was a concrete policy objective. They did that. Anyway, so first they came for Sam George. We said nothing. I'm prepared to say that. Then they came for Howard Kumsum. It was premeditated. It was vicious. When Howard Kumsum fell, our democracy fell. When Howard Kumsum fell, it was a disgrace, and the whole world saw how vicious we can be in ourselves. But Howard Kumsum got up, and she's marching on. This democracy will get up, and this democracy will move on. Then they came for the Deputy General Secretary of the NPP on the same day, in front of the police. Again, he also fell. I heard something, he said he even went out of conscious for about some time, 30 seconds or this time before he came back. He also fell down. It was a disgrace to us, but he also got up and he's moving on. Our democracy will get up. Then they came for Janet. So when they came for Hawa Kumsum and this guy, people jubilated. They said she was dangerous. They said she was a violent person. They said she shot a gun. So people actually celebrated. And so we did nothing. Then they came for journalists, some of them including the people you work with here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Again, we did nothing. The question we have to ask is, when we go to Akwatia, whom will they come for? We should be scared, we should be worried, and we should be afraid.
I don't think that they'll come for anybody in Akwatia.
I didn't think they'll come for anybody in Ablekto enough until
I think Your Excellency was very mute.
Okay, I'll be.
You know, Dr. Zaato, I won't say anything again.
Please, we insist that you say something.
When you go to South Africa, you invite me for a vacation. Please promise you invite me for a vacation.
But we're wrapping the show, so I'll take your final submission. Yeah.
I think that as a country, we've had one too many challenges in our democratic journey. We are still growing. We are not there yet. I'm sure that let's all commit ourselves to peace. Once the IGP has invited all the political parties, let's go there. Let's put all our concerns bare so that as political parties, we'll be able to resolve it and ensure that we don't go to Akwatia to experience any violence. And also to indicate that government of the day does not take its promise to the good people of Ghana lightly. We are promised a reset agenda. We are resetting the country for the betterment of our people, not a select few. We are resetting every aspect of the country to ensure that there's growth, development, and prosperity for all, not a select few. I believe that Dr. Zaato will agree with me that just like majority of the Ghanaian people have said, the NDC under President Mahama is in the right direction, doing what the good people of Ghana voted us for.
Mr. Money, I'll take your final submission.
His Excellency has underlined the need for peace, and peace has no substitute. So once we take the peace for granted, then we'll sentence the present and future generations to all kinds of danger and distraction. So we need to demonstrate by word and deed that we are committed to peace and nothing but the peace.
Thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining us on News Review today. Today, we've been joined by Dr. Joshua Zaato, Senior Lecturer, Policy Political Analyst. You find him at the Department of Political Science, University of Ghana, Legon. And His Excellency Benjamin Kwashi, Ghana's Ambassador Designate to the Republic of South Africa, and as well, Mr. Afel Money, former President of GJA. Do stay this more on the show.
Welcome back to the AM show here on the Joint Channel. Remember that the AM show is sponsored by Syntex Tank. Syntex Tank, strong, tough. Today, we want to discuss the menace of illegal weapons and ammunition in the hands of individuals and how this is impacting on our fight, against crime in our society. We're referencing the recent robbery of a goat shop in Import, in the Western region, in which CCTV captures the footage of how the incident occurred with the attackers wielding guns, and an incident also in Kuntunase in the Ashanti region. Now, before I move on to the Kuntunase one, what you're seeing on the screen now is the footage of how the robbery incident in the Mpho, a district of the Western region, happened. Now, so you can see how it went by. You see the young guys coming in now with, wielding guns. But in this discussion, we also bring you an incident that happened in Kuntunase in the Ashanti region, where the police found an abandoned vehicle with dangerous weapons and ammunition. We heard from the Small Arms Commission on efforts to retrieve illegal arms and ammunition from the public. And we have with us to help us do this discussion, because myself and MFI is still here with me. But we are joined on Zoom by the Executive Secretary of the National Commission on Small Arms and Light Weapons, Dr. Adam Bona. Doc, we're grateful to you for joining us.
I'm grateful for being on your network, and good morning to your viewers and Emifa.
First of all, try and paint a picture for us to see the problem we have at hand with regards to these small arms and ammunitions which are in the hands of the wrong individuals.
Well, yes, once again, good morning. It's a very gloomy picture, I must say. Usually, one would say, oh, but you are part of the executive, and so you must, as much as possible, try to paint things to be brighter. But I am of the opinion that where we have gotten to, we better speak up, even though I am part of the executive, and the Small Arms Commission it's a government agency. And our job is to do the coordination when it comes to coordination and help combat illicit firearms. We better speak up, because then the issue is gone beyond, a stage where one would say, don't speak up. And as the chief servant of the commission, it is my job to lead my team and let them know that it is important not to attempt to hide the fact, but to confront the fact and let those partners, our sister agencies. My board is made up of almost all the security agencies, representatives at the top of the security agencies represented on my board. And therefore, I think I'm competent enough to tell you that the situation is gone out of control, and it has to do with years of our inability to curb the influx of illicit weapon flow into this country. And I would say this is due to about 2-3 things. And I'm happy you mentioned the incident in the Ashanti region. I must pat the police in the back. The police is doing so much, so much. They've come under attack, been shot at, and sometimes some of them injured, some of them killed. And so it's where we've gotten to. We better have to sit up and get things done. First of all, the regulation when it comes to firearms is non-existent. We have something that is over 50 years old. And therefore, it makes enforcement of firearms in this country, enforcement of issues regarding firearms, very difficult. Secondly, I must say, I wanted to mention the incident you spoke about in the Ashanti region. Are you also aware that one of the weapons, when the police officers, encountered and accosted some criminals in the Ashanti region, and a weapon that I think they fired at the police officers returned fire, and the criminals dropped one of their pump-action guns. The police picked it, and when it was checked, this weapon was registered as far back as, was licensed to an individual as far back as 2020. But unfortunately, this individual has refused or has not come back to renew or to renew ownership, to say, I still have this weapon. And therefore, we are trying to work around it to see who is this owner of this weapon. Is it that the weapon was stolen from him? Is it that he is the person who registered it and gave it to the criminals? And you do also know that on the 8th of August, the Chronicle newspaper front page, 16 weapons from the police anti-terrorism unit got stolen. And this was reported in Chronicle, the Chronicle's newspaper on the 8th of August. I would say that once you don't have proper regulatory, you don't have proper regulation, enforcement becomes something that you can't do. Because at the moment, when someone, if I don't come to register, let's say you register a weapon to me, or I'm a licensed, arms bearer, and I don't come to renew, what is the punishment that comes with it? It's just a misdemeanor. The person is caught, sent to court, or the person is just fined some, a paltry sum, and therefore people don't care. Apart from that, most people have these weapons, and it's difficult to put it, but I will say that they have weapons that they don't even know how to use this weapon. Where these weapons are kept, and it is because the law surrounding this is over 50 years old. It didn't envisage that we will get to this point where everybody wants to own a firearm, and Galamsey has worsened the situation. And because of these weapons in the hands of Galamseyers, it's difficult sometimes for the military and the police and myself, my agency, the Small Arms Commission, working jointly with the other security agencies to combat this. So for me, I will say that we are doing our best to ensure that we retrieve weapons in the hands of people who couldn't have them. But until such a time that the law, we have drafted the bill, is at the moment is gone around, and at the moment is at the minister's, quarters. The Honorable Minister has been pushing, Honorable Mutaka Mubarak is pushing to get it done. The President also mentioned it in the State of the Nation's address that we need to get proper regulation for firearms in this country. Previously, I personally pushed. I used to be a member of the Small Arms Board, and my task was to push and get the bill passed. I pushed under the previous ministers, and it didn't get the light of day. Fortunately, it's moving slowly, hoping that by the time Parliament resumes, it would have gone to Cabinet and come back, waiting to be laid before Parliament. But until that, I must confess that it is a very challenging situation we find ourselves, because the illicit borders, people are bringing them, and now they've moved from, call them the shotguns and the pistols, to full automatic, the G series and the M16 or the M series weapons. Means that we need to do something urgently to fight it. We are doing our best together with the police, working together with informants, giving us information to retrieve them. But until you have proper regulation, that when someone is caught, whether you have committed a crime using a firearm or not, if you are caught with a firearm that is not licensed, probably you are given mandatory 5 years, no opportunity for any, what do you call it, giving any fines. But then once you are caught with it, you are sentenced, because a lot of people.
But Doc, can we blame the legislation alone for what we are seeing, or are there other underlying causes?
There are other underlying causes. Okay. The other underlying causes has to do with, for instance, Galamsey. The other underlying causes has to do with the nature of our festivals. For instance, Homowo is just about, we are almost in the season of Homowo. You would have seen young people in weddings and outdoorings firing in the atmosphere. You would have seen some of our traditional leaders, whether being enskined or being moved from one community to the other. And you will have their followers with, a lot of firearms following them. And so this has, and the mistrust also amongst us, and also land disputes. And in fact, sometimes I would say that the nature of the justice delivery system, if you ask me, the justice delivery system sometimes also makes it very difficult to fight this canker. So I also cite it as an underlying factor. I cite it as an underlying factor because then you have two disputants on a parcel of land. And these two disputants go to court. The court says that no one should go and build on that land until the issue is settled and is settled by the courts. Then in the evening or in the night, one of the litigants goes back to the parcel of land and is building, or in the afternoon is building the full glare of the public. And the other person goes there to stop him, and he has his people with firearms to stop them. And so landguardism, the factors are a lot. What we are trying to do from the point of the small arms in the security architecture is to see how we can stop the flow. If we can stop the flow, as we speak, next month, September, is supposed to be the AU month of amnesty in terms of firearms. My board has made some recommendations to the Honorable Minister, hoping that something would trigger. If that triggers, maybe we could get an extended amnesty where people would be asked to return weapons. I know someone who called, people called the commission and say that my father passed on and he left some weapons in the corner. I don't want them. What do I do with them? There might be others who are not talking, and these weapons are tucked in the corner because the original owner has died and the other persons don't know what to do with it. So it is there, and maybe someone steals them and then they leak into the atmosphere. So once this amnesty is if we are fortunate, through the Honorable Minister and probably the President himself, His Excellency, we get an amnesty granted, then it will come with, a lot of guidelines and conditions. People return firearms and not get caught and punished. And once we are able to do that, I must say that will probably let people know that owning these firearms it's something that they shouldn't if you are not legally mandated to keep them.
Okay. Is that what you are looking up to retrieve some of these arms, because you are on a mission to retrieve these firearms? Is the amnesty
Correct.
what you're looking at basing on to do the retrievals?
It's one of the best approach in retrieving firearms in peacetime. Ghana, we've never been at war, but it's one of the best approaches when it comes to retrieving firearms. When you go to areas where there's been all-out war, civil war, and civil unrest, after everything dies down, amnesty is granted, and everybody brings their weapon. The stockpile is destroyed in usually a ceremony. But in our case, we've never been at war with one another. It's been one conflict and the other in one area or the other. But I believe that this amnesty, with some of us who would lead it, together with the police and the rest, if we are fortunate to get an amnesty granted, what would happen is that we'll drive home the fact that people should return illicit firearms. There are other things I don't want to say because then it's a recommendation that is before there's a recommendation going to the Honorable Minister and hopefully onward to the National Security Council of a sort. But if it is granted, there are a lot of things we have highlighted, and I am sure that we would get back to you once an amnesty is granted, hopefully in the month of September and beyond, because then we are likely to retrieve a lot of weapons, if you ask me, because a lot of people don't know where to even send these weapons. And they are also afraid. Some of them don't even want to touch the weapons. A woman called and said, there's a weapon there which was left. I don't want to touch it. Okay. Now I've taken ownership of the house because of the safety of my children. So we had to jointly go pick this weapon and return it to a safe custody. And so for me, amnesty is one of the many ways, but working with intelligence, those listening to us, you will know someone who is in possession of a firearm, and you know this person doesn't have a permit. Report, pick up a phone. If you call the 18555, I'm sure that you are going to get someone behind the phone who will pick it and take all your details. And jointly, these weapons are going to be collected. It's a collective effort at fighting this canker. Liberia went down this way some time ago because they had too many firearms. Sierra Leone did the same. If you go to the Sahel, including our Francophone neighbors, all of them have issues with firearms. Fortunately, we have issues, but we haven't gotten to a point where you say, we are being hit by terrorists. It might never happen. And so let's protect the little, we have, if you ask me.
But you mentioned Galamsey, for example, to be one of the reasons why we have this proliferation of arms.
Correct.
You feel the amnesty will let these Galamseyers return the arms that they have in their possession, for example?
You see, even if they don't return them, if we receive substantial number or a good number of weapons that probably are not in the hands of Galamseyers, what will happen is that we will corner the Galamseyers in the end. But at the moment, the police, the military, and some of our people move from one community to the other, and it looks like from community to community, people are armed. But the moment we begin to do this, people begin to voluntarily, they will return their weapons. And so you would have a situation where galamseyers will be cornered, because we want a situation where if they continue to keep their weapons after the amnesty, it will be so difficult for them to display it, because then we would have driven home the fact that if you see someone with a weapon, kindly report immediately. We are doing that, but it is not catching up with people. And so the amnesty would help us corner those die-hard criminals and the demons among us who think that for them, it doesn't matter whatever you do, they will still possess these firearms. But at the moment, we can only continue to urge that people should report. But Galamsey, of course, look at, I think you were showing that robbery incident in Ashanti region. Our second quarter, I will share the second quarter report with your producer who called me, Kingsley. Our second quarter report, Ashanti region in terms of gun violence has gone up by 75%. The first quarter, Ashanti region recorded 12 firearm violence. By the second quarter, Ashanti region has gone up by 21. It's gone up to 21. It's about 75% increase. And as we speak, they are collecting data on the second quarter. It means that, and when you look at the trend, Ashanti region might go up to probably 200% from 75%. So it tells you that there is something wrong with the system, which we are fixing. But this education, this conversation we are having, is something that I think we, on my part and my team, together with sister security agencies, we will continue to have, because Galamsey, now it looks like all over our villages, those days, the villages, most people were into farming. Today, most people are digging, gold and diamonds and the rest. And so there's money everywhere. And once there is money or something that looks like money everywhere, it means that the criminals are going to move into some of these communities and rob. Look at what they did to that, I think it's a gold selling shop or something. Yeah. Rob them many pounds of gold, running into millions. And you ask yourself that what measures were put in place. If you look at the place, it looked not fit for such a business. But they were trading in this gold and then they were robbed. And so for me, we have a lot to do jointly with yourselves as a media house and all other persons who are in to support us to fight this canker, because if you say it doesn't concern you, you might unfortunately be caught at when you least expect it. So we need to, it's a fight that we must take to them and make sure we win it.
But it's also about dealing with the root, the root of the issue, right? Some few weeks ago, the late defense minister was talking about some, ammunition that left the armory of the Ghana Armed Forces that cannot be it went to the national security, but you cannot really trace where these ammunitions are. So, are these part of the root causes or the sources of these ammunition? Have we identified the sources, and what are we doing to cut these sources in our way to deal with these ammunitions being in the hands of these individuals?
Yes, because the issues under investigations, I would not want to comment too much on that missing ammunition the late defense minister spoke about. But yes, I cited the police report that ended up in the Chronicles newspaper. 16 AK-47 stolen from the anti-terrorism unit, their armory of the Ghana Police Service. And these weapons allegedly were stolen by 2 police officers. And so as part of the amnesty, one of the things that if it is granted could also be to retake stock of what we have. Because then you see, firearms per se are not dangerous until you add the consumables, the bullets.
Okay.
Firearms per se are not dangerous. If you have a firearm, a gun, AK-47, M16, the G series, pump action, shotgun, you don't have BB cartridges and the rest, you can't use it. If you don't have the bullets, you can't use it. So what has happened is that over the period, the supply of these bullets, once the supply of these bullets, we are not able to stop it. It means that these people who have these weapons would use and reuse their weapons. And so, yes, as the former the late, may his soul rest in peace, and the others, as he mentioned, there is a problem. I wouldn't want to openly talk about them because these issues are under investigation. But I must say that I cited the issue of, law, the issue of the lack of regulation.
Yeah.
Once there's lack of regulation, let's not make it look like the regulation is only going to affect civilian ownership. But the regulation is supposed to make sure that there is a seamless way of doing things. As we speak, it is my agency that coordinates firearm issues. We report to the AU, we report to ECOWAS, and report to the ATT, the UN wing of the Arms Trade Treaty. And in fact, as we speak, I am the current chair of the Diversion Information Exchange Forum at the ATT, within the UN. I chair diversion of illicit weapons and illicit ammunition and all that. I share it at that level. It means that the UN at that level recognizes the fact that Ghana has a key role to play. And let me also say that our neighbors, the surrounding countries, have accused us, even though openly, some of us, when we meet them, we say no. They have accused us that Ghana is a transit point for illicit weapons into their countries. And this tag is something that we must work hard to ensure that we are not seen to be a country that is fueling some of the conflict around our neighbors, because then when it comes up, we tell them to show us the proof, and sometimes they'll give us the proof. Recently, my men at Aflao, we are at all the borders in this country. My men at Aflao intercepted, an individual who had purchased some of these bullets and was, moving them to a neighboring countries, and they intercepted him, brought him to Accra, and is together with the police. We are prosecuting him in court as we speak. And there are several of these cases. So my men all over the border areas and the regions are helping security agencies as we speak. One of the things we also do to ensure these things don't happen, even if it happens, we know where it's coming from, is marking of weapons. My agency does them. I mean, it is our mandate to mark both civilian and state security weapons. And we've done substantially very well. I think we've done almost 100% of the customs and the rest, police and the rest. We are at the moment doing the others. The others is ongoing. It is another way of making sure that when leakages do happen, we know where this leakage came from. And so, yes, we are doing a lot. But I must say that once the regulation is not there, sometimes you want to enforce, and then the other person will ask you, show me the law that says you can do A, B, C, D, S, Y, Z. And you are stuck. And either you try to use what we call Takashi to do it, because clearly you don't have the law. Sometimes weapons are seized at the port and it becomes a banter. Who should keep it? Who should do what? And these are some of the things that the law would clarify. How do you buy a weapon, sell a weapon to an individual? I mean, you are a journalist. You would have gone to journalism school. You would have practiced journalism for a long time to be interviewing me today. Someone today goes to buy a shotgun and he owns a shotgun with a permit. I mean, how do you become a specialist within a day? And you will have a lethal weapon with you. I mean, the law doesn't specify that. Let's ensure the current law does not say there should be proficiency. I mean, you want to own a weapon. We put you somewhere put you through some training, make sure your eyes are good, make sure mentally everything is sound. And so people have these weapons, but because the law doesn't say, do A, B, C, D. If the guy comes and you want to say, let's do A, B, C, D, he tells you, show me the law that says you should do it.
Okay.
Well,
the people are registering more than a weapon, more than a weapon. And sometimes when you want to say no, some of them will say, show me the law that says I cannot register more than a weapon.
Well, Doctor, if I understand you, this new regulation will sanitize these challenges. It will bring to the fore, or it will create a central point where you are able to regulate everything about firearms, I'd say. Because currently, for example, the police is in charge of issuing the permits and license as well. And by the time it gets to the police, the commission, what would you be doing in this stage of issuing the permits and license. Currently, the law and the situation as we have it now, what does it look like for the commission?
Well, for the commission, ours is to help the police, do the enforcement. But the police will tell you that, you don't give, the police is not supposed to be a regulator. That is not best international practice. Police is typically enforcement internationally. So the moment you give regulation and enforcement to the police, then you are missing the point. But that is how the police all over the world was created until probably many years ago, 50 or so years ago, when things started changing. And even in our case, they used to do immigration work, drive the DVLA. They used to do all of that, including narcotics. So once the law we get the law, the current bill, passed into law, what then happens is that the police have their role to play. On my board, I have the Director General of CID mandatorily is supposed to be on my board. And so at the moment on my board, I have Madam Lydia Yako Donko, who is on my board. We have the Director General of Operations, someone in the rank of a senior, so 2 police officers at the senior level sit on my board. We have custom, 2 senior, 1 custom senior officer, and you can name them. National Security at the level of director sit on my board. And so this is going to be a central point where decisions are taken, jointly. And so everybody knows their role to play. The customs are there, immigration is there, the police is there, national security is there, everybody is there. Decisions are taken how these things are going to be done. But at the moment, the police is doing their best. They've been doing that. But like I said, it's not everything I want to say. The police are doing their best. But we've gotten to a point where best international practice says, the ATT, the Arms Trade Treaty that Ghana is a state party. When it came to Ghana for the domestication, in fact, the parliament by itself actually said that the small arms is supposed to be the implementer. And all these things are spelled out. And so Ghana won't be the first country to have the National Commission being in charge of the central point when it comes to regulation of firearms and its activities in this country. And it goes beyond just the firearms. As we speak, explosives. You know what happened in Nkoko? Explosives are sold in some of these mining areas like candies. They don't actually even know the effect of these explosives. They don't know. As we speak, armored vehicles. We have issues with armored vehicles where everybody wants to own an armored vehicle, be it a bank or a rural bank. Everybody wants to own it. Where's the regulation? And so all these things are going to be part of it. And some time ago, Ghana was blacklisted by the International Anti-Money Laundering Agency, because they said we do not have, they want to see that as part of the Arms Commission regulation. And so, and they are actually going to be coming back. I think they've already threatened to blacklist us again. And therefore, we are running, it looks like we have issues here and there that must be dealt with. Yes, so I'm sure once this bill is passed into law, all these conversations is going to change, because then when you come to me, we should be able to sit with you and tell you this is what is being done, and that is what has been done, and this is what has been done, and we hope to improve upon it. But today, as we sit, in terms of fighting the canker, it is a very difficult challenge, but I won't say it is impossible. We are jointly fighting it.
Until this law is passed so that we get a point of reference, can you throw a bit more light on the ambiguity of the law on manufacture of arm in Ghana or the repair of it? There seemed to be a bit of confusion. In one breath, you can manufacture. In another breath, no, you cannot. You can only have it repaired some sort. Can you please give us a bit of education on that?
Okay, so you cannot manufacture. You can't manufacture. But even with a repair, you cannot also repair, even though some time ago, a certain minister seemed to have issued a license to someone many years ago, not the last 10 years, many years ago, issued a license for repair. It's not allowed. It is the Minister of the Interior the Minister of the Interior, there is something very little in the current law we have that mandates the minister to give a permit to someone who wants to manufacture. But none of our ministers has ever done that, because you do not issue a permit when you don't. Issuing a permit is different from regulation or regulation. Issuing a permit is different from, you don't issue a permit when you are not regulating. But it is like, at the moment, we've given too many permits for people to even bring in firearms. Meanwhile, we are not regulated. And so let me call it the hypocritical, section of the law that says you cannot manufacture. Meanwhile, the minister can give you the permit. The minister will not give you the permit. Yet people are manufacturing, and we know, because we deal with the artisanship. Those who deal with them, the leaders will come to us and tell us some of their colleagues are producing these illicit weapons, and the evidence is abounds. You know that people, hoodlums are caught, and you will find with them locally manufactured pistols and locally manufactured, pump actions and the rest, and you're asking yourself, where did it come from? And when you trace, you find out that it was done in some corner in one of our communities. So people are manufacturing. The new law, the bill, if it is passed into law, we already have the database of some of them. We'll bring all of them on, now give them specialized training, now have them on our database, now make sure that we know where they are buying they get their supplies from to produce these weapons. Once that happens, we are able to tell that maybe Akwesi Mensah produced maybe 20 weapons this month. And those 20 weapons have been legally produced and legally sold to ABCD. So the supply chain is all going to be licensed. That way, when an incident happens, you know where it is coming from. Secondly, what do you call it? With regards to even producing them and selling to probably neighboring countries, if we have the capacity to make them here, it means that we probably can buy even for our state security. We will train these people so much so that our state security, we don't have to bring in already fitted weapons. You bring them in parts and they assemble them and get paid. So we would be creating jobs for these people who are making them anyway, and we don't know them. The assumption is that we do not know them, but they are there. You go to every community in this country, including Accra, there will be a gunsmith somewhere in Accra who is making one or two illicit weapons or locally producing these weapons. And the law says, he's not permitted to do it, but they are making them. So what do we do? When you ask yourself that when you go to our local armories among the traditional authorities, when their weapons become disused, they can't use them again. And they have to get new ones for firing musketries. Who do them for them? Because they don't purchase them from outside the country. It means that somebody within the community is making these weapons for some of our traditional authorities, and they know them. But these persons are not permitted by law, the hypocritical law I'm talking about, to make them. Meanwhile, they make them, and they sell them, and they make money. So let's capture them. And so, yes, repair is something that, these are things that you will have to be permitted to do it. But they do them. If you go to the military, the police, they have weapon fitters whose job they are trained to fit weapons when they are broken. And my men are currently even undergoing, SAT training in one of the, agencies. We have partners like the Mines Advisory Group and the rest, and then Hallow Trust. All of them these are international, recognized international partners who come through the Small Arms Commission to help, strengthen the capacity of our armories, the capacity of our security agencies. So we have led the effort of making sure that we build capacity among the security agencies. But it's a fight that, if you ask me, we must win. It doesn't matter what it takes. We must win the war against illicit firearms, including explosives and all that. Let's not limit it to when people hear of small arms, it's moved. I mean, people just think it is the small guns. No, no, it is not. You are talking about the sidearms, some level of some semi-automatic weapons. So people should move away from, when you hear small arms, you think It's a small locally manufactured weapon. No. These are, weapons that are lethal, can kill, if you ask me.
Let's take a trip to Boko, Doc. What kind of mechanism currently it's the commission using to at least curb the use of illegal arms over there?
Well, one of the mechanisms, I'm sure you already mentioned some of them. The late defense minister mentioned ammunitions that got lost. You see, the combatants in Boko, there is something that I can't put out. It's under investigation. The combatants in Boko definitely get their ammunitions and wherever from various sources, if you ask me. And without this ammunition, they will not be able to be effective. And the mechanism we put in place is to make sure that there are lifelines, that is the bullets, and the other instrument they will need to do this is cut off. And so the snap checks before you enter Boko and all that is ongoing. I don't have to put everything that is being done, but there's a lot, you call in and search, you intel, and the conflict in Boko is not only in Boko. The conflict in Boko starts from Accra, from Kumasi, from all over the country, because some people have seen it to be an ideological sort of conflict. And once people get to that point, it takes a lot to get them move away from that mentality that I'm fighting this conflict because of A, B, C, D. So there are people who, even from outside the country, who sometimes would send money to combatants in Boko, and the evidence has been there. And so people who work in most of our security agencies sometimes would want, if I can get a bullet or two, maybe send it there. So these are things that once we have identified it and we are fighting it, eventually we should be able to stop the sporadic shooting. Sometimes they can shoot from 10 p.m. till about 4 a.m. Where are they getting the bullets from? Where are they getting the bullet from? And a bullet is not cheap, it's expensive. And they don't do that a day, they do that repeatedly. It means that repeatedly they get supplied. But like I said, it is going to die down eventually because mechanisms have been put in place to make sure that the supply of ammunition ceases or is reduced to the barest minimum. And therefore, even if you had an M16 weapon or the G series weapons or AK-47 or pump action, you don't have ammunition to fire it. And so it becomes like a piece of wood. That's what we are doing. But I must say that the conflict in Boko is no joke. Anyone who understands the dynamics, it's no joke. And because of the sensitive nature of it, we are all very careful not to point accusing fingers at this tribe or that tribe. I think jointly we should be able to reduce it. And I'm happy of the peace enforcement in Boko, because once you go beyond peacekeeping to peace enforcement, it means that we would impose peace on you. That is what it literally means. We are going to impose peace. Whether you like it or not, you must live peacefully. We will take away what is needed, what you need to be able to foment trouble. We'll take it away from you. Basically, that is what is being done by the Ghana Armed Forces. And I have a lot of trust in the current armed forces. A lot of things happened in the past. I wouldn't want to go there. I mean, I've shared those with your network some time ago. I wouldn't want to go there. I mean, I have so much confidence in the current armed forces that, what they are doing would work and it will bring lasting peace to Boko and its environs.
But if what you're saying is quite scary. It means that some people in the state machinery were aiding what was happening in Boko. And if that is true, some people need to be held accountable, not so.
Yes. Some people, I mean, there are a lot of, I'm privy to, I'm privy to a lot of these things. And before today, I was privy to a lot of them. Now where I find myself, I'm able to make sure the right thing is done. And so what I will say is that, yes, I'm sure if you have your ears on the ground, you would have heard that some officer there has been caught, some officer there has been interdicted, some officer there has been locked up, a lot of things. Listen, a lot is going on. It's not everything I want to put out. I mean, I heard you say scary. I mean, you see, I don't want to scare anybody, but it is better we put it as it is and deal with it and make sure that the right thing is done than to sweep it under the carpet and one day something happened, boom, and we are asking, where were we when all this thing was building up, and you call me and you are looking for answers. So I better start talking to you now and telling you what we are doing and how I need you to help me. Yes, I mentioned the 16, what do you call it, 16 AK-47 that got lost. Go and check the background of those people. What I'm trying to say is that once people begin to think ideologically and think that, you know, this thing is like a jihad, this thing is like this thing is like that, it's my religion or it's my tribe or it's my that and my that. Once you put those people in charge of part of the machinery that is supposed to be used in fighting the canker that is happening there, those people would rather in return give it to those who are fighting, and they will fight, they will use it to fight you back. But I am, you know, confident that with the measures being put in place at the moment, with the things we are doing jointly, the security agencies are doing, Boku eventually, in terms of us for the chieftaincy issue, we'll leave it for those who know best to deal with the chieftaincy issue.
Okay.
But in terms of, you know, retooling and rearming and refueling and all those things, once we are able to cut it off and we sustain it, Boku eventually will push people to sit and talk. What we are not getting at the moment is people sitting down to talk because of the distrust. Everybody thinks I must fight this on behalf of my tribe, on behalf of my clan, on behalf of my this. And that is what is making the Boku conflict, you know, the way it is. But if you speak to the indigents of Boku, they will tell you they are not happy about what is going on, and they would want Boku to go back to its vibrancy as it used to be over 50 years ago. The current Boku is just a pale shadow of itself, if you ask me.
Yeah. I mean, but if it's on Boku, then you can have it, because I'm going to move. It looks like the fight against this proliferation is hinged on the legislation. Am I right to say so?
Correct, 100%.
Okay. Now, if that is it, and we have failed to get this legislation over the past years, why did that happen? Because you've been in the space for quite a long time. Why did it happen, and what is giving you the confidence that it could happen now to help us deal with this?
Well, what gives me the confidence that it would happen now is because the president has mentioned it. The Honorable Minister of the Interior, Honorable Muntaka Mubarak, he has been pushing for this legislation more than even me, the chief servant of the Arms Commission. Various ministers in this current regime have mentioned it. My brother, Honorable James Agaga, he's the chairman of the Defense and Interior Committee of Parliament. He keeps asking the bill. Both MPs on, you know, across both the aisle have spoken about it. What happened in the past? I would say, you see, when there's grandstanding, somebody thinks somebody is taking his job, and it's something that despicable, if you ask me. I was tasked by the then board chairman. I served as the member of the board on behalf of CSO. The then board chairman said, I need you to deal with this thing, speak to get them, and I did my best. The furthest I could go, you know, we have two things that must be passed. You know, as we speak, Ghana doesn't control anything. We don't have a control list. We don't control anything. I pushed and pushed for the control list and the bill to be passed. And the control list, let me tell you what the control list is. We are supposed to be controlling ammonium nitrates. We are supposed to be controlling acids. We are supposed to be controlling almost anything that could be used for explosives, can be used for this. But at the moment, we don't control them. And so if I encountered someone who is moving, let's say, ammonium nitrate or some chemicals that can be put together for explosives, you know that when you combine A, B, C, D, you can do a dirty bomb, an IED, and you see the guy moving in a truck to, let's say, Boko, or moving to Nkwanta, the Nkwanta area, where there's conflict. By law, you can't ask them. He says, I'm going to use it to farm. It's a fertilizer. Meanwhile, you know that this can be used for serious dirty bombs, but we don't control them. We do not control them. We are supposed to, by law, we are supposed to control all of these things. You are supposed to know where they are going to, who is bringing them, the quantities that we are bringing. Other countries have done that. The furthest I could go in the old regime or the Nanado's regime was to get the controllers when the then minister signed it. But it didn't move from his from the Ministry of the Interior to Attorney General's Department, come back before it goes. So it was just signed, and Henry Corte, Ambrose Derry signed it just when he was exiting. Honorable Henry Corte came and said, I want to look at it. And that was the end of that control list. And so mine is that I am privileged to have been part of this whole process before being appointed. And therefore, I can speak to you from a point of view of knowledge. And I have been part of the drafting of the bill. I've been part of drafting of the bill for the last 10 years. We drafted it, and you know, the US government supported us, the German government supported us, the AU, the European Union, ECOWAS, all of these entities supported us to draft the bill, and they were with us. Sometimes you go for a week retreat, just putting things together with all the heads of security, all the agencies, only for it to come and it was not done. But what gives me the assurance that it will be done is from what the president wants to leave Ghana a better place than he met it.
Okay.
My minister has told us openly, he said it openly, Honorable Mutaka Mobara, he said it openly. And I will tell you that he's pushing for this bill to be passed even more than us at the commission and various heads of security agencies. So if he is pushing it, it tells you, and when he gets the opportunity to talk, he mentions the bill that I want to see this bill passed. Because if it is done, it will sanitize the environment. But once it is not passed, like I said, it becomes difficult. And so the assurance here is that those who must act, I am at the commission, I'm sure until I was appointed, you really didn't hear a lot about even the commission. You wouldn't hear about the bill. But it is like my baby. I want to see it passed. It is like the president's baby. He wants to see it passed. My minister's baby. It's become, I want it to be something that we must own once it is passed. That way, you won't have a road rage with someone and he picks a gun to shoot you. Your son will not go to school. Your daughter won't go to school. And you have his colleague pick up a locally manufactured pistol and bring it to school because his father owned it illegally. And he pulls the trigger and maybe your child is injured. That is what is going on today. You go to most of our schools, some of our schools, and these students are hiding some of these weapons. And you ask yourself, those days, even technical school students were using maybe spiners and the rest. And now it is not knife, they are using weapons. So it tells you that if we don't deal with this canker today, you know, tomorrow might not be too good for us. It is a reason why I am confident that, and even this conversation shows, I mean, all of you are interested. In the past, when there were issues of arms, you would call the police alone. And, you know, because maybe you probably didn't know some of the issues. But I have made it a point that let's stop blaming the police. Let's be, you know, collective responsibility. But the moment you blame the police, maybe the police might not be able to come and tell you that it is not our doing. But it is difficult. And then who? I say that these things should start from the Arms Commission. And then once it is done, we will take most of the questions and answer them practically and making sure that these things are done and done the right way, if that is how it's supposed to be.
Okay, we will nearly wrap this conversation on the amnesty that the president granted. Just this day we saw nearly 1,000 of that. But quickly before we take your view on that, on the pros and cons of that amnesty that has been granted, one of the frequently asked questions on your page, on your website is, what's the procedure in acquiring a firearm? It's a basic question, but there's some answers over there that I just want to interrogate. So the applicant must go to the nearest police station, specifically the firearm licensing office, to apply for a specified firearm, subject themselves to forensic and physical background vetting. My question is, who does this physical background vetting, forensic and physical background vetting? That's one. The second is a permit will be issued to the applicant to acquire the weapon after the applicant may have been cleared. And then they can now proceed to purchase the firearm from a licensed ammunition dealer.
Yeah. So that is the process.
That's the process. On paper.
That's the process. That's the process on paper. But the process does not amount to regulation. It's a process on paper. And so it says A, B, C, D, S, Y, Z. But that process does not amount to regulation, because then what if I don't do it? What if a police officer who is supposed to issue you that permit does not do it? Is he going to suffer any consequences? So once that process is not, when I say it's not, too grounded in terms of, if you don't do A, this will happen. If you don't do B, this will happen. So it's a form of something that we follow. You go to the police, you must be at a certain age of sound mind. Who determines if you are sound mind? Must you come with, something from a medic who says that this person is sound upstairs to be given a firearm, for instance? There is nothing like that.
Okay.
Must we, we are so it also includes doing some background checks of the person. So if the background check is not done, so what happened? How do you know the background check has been done or hasn't been done? We all know once things are not properly grounded in law, it becomes very difficult because they say, okay, the policies are themselves not law. The policy is that you go to, national security or NIB must do some background check. What if my brother is at NIB and I say, Charlie, my thing is coming? Oh, he says, so bring it yourself. I mean, what if? That is the question I always.
Okay.
And so once that what if is not answered, it means that there is a deficiency somewhere. And so I can also tell you that in some of our regions, I can tell you, I mean, I say these things, it's not so pleasant, but I'll put it. Where I am, I know persons who go to purchase the firearm before going to register. Goes to the armorer, the dealer, purchases the firearm before going to register. So between purchasing and registering, I can decide not to go and register.
Yeah. Okay.
Because then if you sell weapons and I came to you and I bought the weapon, because then the guy who is selling the weapon, the law doesn't tell us if he sells the weapon without, if he sells the weapon to a user without the user coming with a permit, he should be punished. Then it becomes difficult. Then we all try to massage the thing and say, okay, let's make it look that this thing is working right. But the truth is that we know it's not working.
Kojo, if you don't have a follow-up question on this, it would be a good time to ask him, while the president is exercising his rights in the Constitution, particularly Article 72, Clause 1 of that, are you concerned about the cascading effect of the amnesty that's been granted? Possible cascading security effects of it? Are there,
no, I'm not.
First of all? Okay.
I'm not. I'm not an apostle of custodial sentence for some offenses. I'm not an apostle of custodial sentence, because then someone goes to steal a chicken. Yeah, it's a crime. It's not a first degree, second degree felony. You catch the person, you give the person 6 months. Why won't you let the person go and be sweeping streets for maybe 1 month, 2 months, instead of asking some people, companies to come and do the sweeping? And so mine is that when you look at a category of people the president has released, I think 2 of them are by petition, some of them are very frail, 70 and above, have been released, first-time offenders. And I'm sure that these people, if you ask me, I will say, won't come back to our society and become troublemakers. I say this because our custodial regime is archaic. Our custodial the process. You go, I need to, I'm a public officer now, but the truth is that the justice delivery system itself is not very straightforward. So sometimes, depending on who is prosecuting you, depending on who you would allegedly you committed the crime against, you are likely to get harsher punishment. And sometimes some of the issues have not been thoroughly investigated, but these people end up behind bars and sometimes sent to jail. So mine is that we need to decongest our prisons. We need to, and it looks like that bill might be before Parliament, I don't know, the non-custodial regime. It's something that some of us have fought for over the years. Why do you send somebody, two people who are fighting, one person slaps another person, and then boom, they say pay a fine of 3,000 Ghana cedi. You are not able to pay, so you go and you are languishing in jail. Why can't we find a way to say that, okay, instead of occupying the space, we'll take you to somewhere, go and clean the drains for 2 months, and then we'll let you go. You will learn something. You won't do it again. The shame alone. But at the moment, the law doesn't say that. So the judges will give you what, as for them, they would implement the law as is specified, is enshrined in our statute. So for me, I think that is the best we could have gotten, and I'm even yearning for more. Because when I looked at the category of people and I checked with my colleagues from the prisons service, when and this thing goes through a rigorous process. It goes through, it's a rigorous process. And so mine is that what I raised with them was that we need to keep an eye to see whether we are going to have some of these people, offending again. Once you offend again, then you see you might not get any reprieve again. You might not get any. You won't be lucky. And I want to believe that most of them will come out and be well behaved. Most people were asking, "Is my agrada part of it?" When I check, I'm told no. I'm told no.
That's your agrada.
People were concerned that she shouldn't come out. She should be there. And so when I checked and I was told that no, agrada, what she did is not something that any president or any prisons board or prisons council would, because it goes through all the processes before it gets to the president for him to grant them amnesty. So let's reassure ourselves that these people will come out and be better persons in our society.
Grateful to you. Let's bring in now James Agalga. He is the chairman of Parliament Defence and Interior Committee. Grateful to you, sir, for joining. Now, let's start from the small arms, because we are being told today that the legislation which is there now is over 50 years. And for lack of clarity in the provisions in that particular law, it makes it difficult to deal with small arms. And we are being also told that there is a process to draft a new one. Well, unfortunately, we've lost James Agalga there. That's unfortunate. But do we still have Dr. Bono on the line? Yeah, Doc, so earlier you were giving some statistics about the fact that you said Ashanti region has grown by 70%. What is the national outlook?
The national outlook, it looks grim, it looks bad. I will share the data. I wanted to share it with you. I'll share it with you, then maybe if another conversation can be scheduled, you'll go through and tease out your questions. But the national outlook is not anything to write home about. I would say that we had about 54 gun-related incidents in the second quarter. And the second quarter went up by one. The first quarter was 53. But when you look at the distribution is what makes it a bit more scary.
Okay.
You look at Ashanti region went up by 75%. That is from 12 incidents to 21 incidents in the second quarter. You take Upper East, for instance, Upper East, you know, Upper East includes Boko is part of Upper East.
Yeah.
Upper East also went up by 60% in the second quarter from 45%. And then when you take some areas in the, what do you call it, the middle zone regions comprise 61% incident rise. And then you have the coastal also, we had 20% from 19% in the first quarter. And then you have identified weapons at the crime scenes. 48% of it had to do with pump action. These are pump action shotguns. And then 24% of them were pistols. And these pistols would be, what do you call it, locally made pistols and all that.
All right.
So it's not something one can say that it's good. No.
Okay, I'm grateful. Let's bring in James Galgana. We have him. I'm grateful to you, sir, for joining. I mean, you are the chairman of the Defense and Interior Committee. We're told we have an issue with dealing with small arms in Ghana. What's your committee doing to help in the fight against small arms?
The committee performs oversight responsibility over the Ministry of Interior and, of course, a small commission, which is an aid under the ministry. That said, we have been having engagement with the small arms within the ministry itself to try to, first of all, and the legislative framework within which the small arms cases operate. Also, to try to domesticate a very important national instrument.
Mr. Agaga, you're making a good point, but your line keeps tripping here and there. So if you can reposition yourself, I'll be grateful.
Is it better now? Can you hear me?
Yeah, it's way better now, yes.
All right. So I said, one, we need to enhance the legislative framework.
Okay.
What that means is that the act or the law which is currently in existence, to conclude the proliferation of small arms and light weapons in our country, is simply not up to scratch. And so, for a very long time, proposals have been made for a comprehensive review of that law, so that rather than have a small arms and light weapons commission, we will now have an arms commission. That way, the regime for the control of the proliferation of arms in our country can be dealt with effectively and efficiently. Again, Ghana has ratified very important international treaties on small arms and proliferation. Unfortunately, we have not domesticated some of those instruments. A typical example, the Arms Trade Treaty, and that is an important international instrument which is aimed at controlling small arms proliferation. Unfortunately, as we speak, we are yet to do the second leg of ratification under Article 75 of the Constitution. The executive ought to bring the instrument before Parliament for us to do the second round of ratification so that we can properly implement the provisions contained in that all-important international instrument. Aside that, I think there are other measures that we can also put in place. One is for me to regulate the small arms manufacturing industry we have in our country. Like it or not, blacksmiths are dotted across the country. They are very skilled and they are able to manufacture small arms. Now, the problem with our country is that we have criminalized their operations more or less. And so the result is that we have only succeeded in pushing them to operate underground. the time has come for us to regulate their activities and allow them to continue to manufacture arms, maybe for our security services. Who says Ghana cannot become an exporter of small arms if that industry were regulated? At the moment, we have not put in place those steps. So you pretend that, okay, blacksmiths should not manufacture small arms. If they are caught, you would arrest them and prosecute. But the point is, to what extent? What would be your success rate? Given that people must survive. You see, so these are some of the measures I think we need to put in place. First of all, enhance the legislative regime, the legal regime for the operations of an arms commission, which would replace the small arms commission, which is currently in existence. They've done so well. For instance, when it comes to the marking of weapons, they've done very well with very limited resources. Dr. Dambonet, my brother, and I want to commend them for the good work they are doing, but we need to resource them to deliver on their mandate.
Okay. Okay, so if it is changed to Arms Commission, what difference do we expect it to make? Because we are moving from small arms to an Arms Commission. What difference do we envisage this Arms Commission will bring?
Look, at the moment, the importation of arms into the country, even by the security agencies, I mean, it's something that the Small Arms Commission has no controls over. So the problem is that once they are not involved, it makes it difficult for tracking. Sometimes weapons are stolen from our security agencies. Yes, it does happen. They don't have the ability to do the tracing and tracking because they are not involved when the security agencies decide to buy weapons from external sources. Again, the regime we have currently does not allow for the Small Arms Commission to perform effective oversight over the acquisition of weapons by citizens legally, lawfully. An example is, look, do you know currently under our laws, you can actually build an armory. As an individual, you can buy as many weapons as possible. And yet, who performs the oversight to ensure that, for instance, an individual doesn't own more than, let's say, one pistol? Okay, the regime is simply not up to scratch. So we are of the view that if we have an arms commission in place, they would be able to liaise with our security agencies, do effective tracking, keep appropriate records, so that the issue of proliferation can be brought to its very minimum. That's what we are talking about.
Okay.
We also want to designate them as the focal point for the implementation of the arms trade treaty, that I spoke about earlier on. So that is why we think that it's important to build the capacity of the existing Small Arms Commission, transform them into an arms commission to have to buy and help in bringing arms proliferation to its barest minimum.
Okay. Well, before we let you go, once we have you as the chairman of the Defense and Interior Committee of Parliament, a while ago, some child beggars on the street of Accra, where there was an operation to get them off the street, but we are picking indications that these children are back on the street. Is that a worry to your committee, and what are you doing to ensure that the street is again rid of these children?
Yes, we have had occasion to engage with the authorities, notably the Ghana Security Service, on exercise carried time to reach the streets of those child deaths. At the point that some situation was done.
Mr. Gaga, I think we started losing you again.
Oh, sorry. Hello?
Good. Let's go.
Yeah, so we've had engagement with the Ghana Immigration Service with respect to the repatriation exercise that was carried out some time ago. And we were very particular about the human rights perspective. You know, for instance, what is the status of those children? Are they covered under our refugee laws? Can they be described as refugees? So we satisfied ourselves that, look, most of those children you see, in our streets are actually victims of, child trafficking. Those issues came to the fore. They are trafficked from various countries brought into this country to beg, and at the end of the day, those who brought them in become beneficiary to, the criminal act of child trafficking. So, we insisted that, okay, if you have to repatriate them, you must liaise with the UNHCR, the Ghana Refugee Board, to ensure that those who meet the criteria and can be treated as refugees are treated as such, whilst those who are victims of child trafficking are rescued and maybe reunited with their families abroad. So the process must continue to ensure that the children whose rights are abused, because if the traffic engage in child trafficking and pour them onto the streets, it's a major violation of their fundamental human rights.
Okay.
It's criminal conduct, and those who are behind that practice ought to be arrested and prosecuted. So that is all I can say about the issue to do with child beggars in our streets. So maybe the exercise that was carried out some time ago by the Ghana Immigration Service must continue.
Okay. All right. We're grateful to you, but maybe
quickly before we let you go, what's the committee's reaction to the amnesty granted by the president to the nearly 1,000 prisoners just yesterday?
Well, that is nothing new. The president merely exercised his power of what we call the prerogative bench, which is enshrined in our constitution. Where people have been arrested because they have committed crime and the idea, like what the main theory of punishment in criminal jurisprudence, is the transformation of convict. One of the theories is retribution. But retributive justice is a cake now. So the theory of punishment, or if you like, imprisonment, which many countries now apply, is the transformation bit. You incarcerate because you want to take people through some learning curve so that they acquire skills, so that when they finish serving their sentences, they would not go back to the state in which they were. We call that recidivism. You go back and commit the same crime. No, so that is one cardinal principle that ought to be respected. So when inmates are in the prison system for a while, and there is evidence that they have gone through some transformation, normally the prisons authority would make recommendations to the president to exercise his power to grant, mercy, and then those people would either have reduced sentences or be taken out of prison altogether. So what the president has done is very progressive. It is in line with his powers, which are enshrined under the Constitution. And, he needs to be applauded. Look, those who are on death row have now had their sentences commuted to life.
Yeah.
If you believe in the fight against...
We're grateful to you, Chairman, for spending your time with us this morning on our show. James Agalgade is Chairman of the Defense and Interior Committee of Parliament. As well, we had Dr. Adam Bona, Executive Secretary of the Small Arms Commission and Light Weapons as well. But before we wrap the show this morning, a reminder to make your dream home a reality with EcoBank. Step into your ideal home or transform your current space with one that truly reflects your style and comfort, all with the support from EcoBank. EcoBank has once again partnered with Joy News to bring you an exciting experience at the EcoBank Joy News Habitat Fair. This year's edition makes your journey a comfortable modern home even more accessible and affordable. With EcoBank's Buy Now, Pay Later, you can easily renovate, upgrade, or furnish your home to suit your taste and lifestyle. Whether it's elegant home decor, modern furniture, essential electronics like laptops and phones, or solar energy solutions, EcoBank has the right financing tailored to your lifestyle. From staying connected with the latest devices to embracing sustainable living, our flexible consumer loans, asset finance, and salary advance products are designed to help you bring your vision to life. Enjoy competitive interest rates, convenient repayment terms, and fast approval from a bank that understands your need. So go on and visit the stands anytime you step forward at the home and lifestyle you deserve. Comfortable home starts with EcoBank. Be part of it. EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank. Okay. Now, are you looking to do things differently to level up your skills and get ahead in this challenging job market? We do know that it's tough here for university graduates with only a few landing jobs immediately after school. So doing things differently is what you need to do, and that's what the Design and Technology Institute, DTI, is all about. DTI offers programs ranging from precision welding and fabrication, design innovation, to also entrepreneurship. Now, their programs are internationally recognized by the American Welding Society, Pearson, BTEC, and CTVET, so you can shine here in Ghana or anywhere around the world. So if you are ready to do things differently and chart your own path, check out DTI. Visit dtiafrica.com/admissions or call 0541693534 for more information. Let me say a special birthday to very special people. So Inspector Emmanuel Eje Sapon, you are in charge of operations at the Agunan Kwanta District Police Service. A happy birthday to you, Inspector Emmanuel Eje Sapon. You are a wonderful man. Also, we celebrate the wife of one of us here. Stefan is celebrating the wife today because the wife is celebrating the birthday today. Vivian, your sweet husband, Stefan, says you are an angel that God gave him, and he is celebrating you today. He says, may the good Lord bless you abundantly as you celebrate your birthday today. And also, happy birthday to, Mr. Lawrence Daniels. You are the PRO of the Chartered Insurance Institute of Ghana and the Country Director of the Young Insurance Professionals Ghana, YIPS Ghana. Lawrence Daniels, happy birthday to you as well. And that's how we wrap up the show for you today. My name is Samuel Kojo. Please stay for Joy News Desk with Mamie Senior Mitchell Thompson. 316.